Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto Juubi was in Justice League. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Hotstreak's crossover stories and link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. Prologue. Death and Rebirth. Metropolis. Unknown to the people in Metropolis, a figure stood high above one of the tallest buildings in the city. The person in question wore a red and silver armor with a high armored collar and shoulder guards. In the center of his chest was a dragon's crest, black gauntlets, dark blue pants, two ninja pouches on both sides of his waist, and sliver boots with yellow rings at the top. He also wore a black mask with blue flame pattern with two eye holes. "I still find it hard to believe how this all happened," he said to himself. Flashback. The 5 great counties formed an alliance to prevent Madara from trapping the world in the infinite Tsukiyomi. Sadly, countless shinobi had been killed in battle. Kabuto helped Madara with the Ito Tensei. Thanks to Itachi putting Kabuto under the effects of Izanami, controlling him into undoing the Ito Tensei. All those brought to life by the Ito Tensei returned to the realm of the dead except for Madara, who defeated the 5 Kage before joining the fight with his partner Obito. Kakashi's former teammate who'd been posing as Madara and the reason Naruto's were killed, something he could never forgive or forget. Had it not been for him, he would have had parents growing up and his childhood wouldn't have been a living hell. No matter how much he hated Obito, he needed to stay calm and not let his anger get the better of him. Cause the fate of the world rest upon stopping them from succeeding with their plans. Naruto took Obito down with a sneak attack from his Rasengan, piecing his heart. Thanks to Kakashi, he got Obito to use up a large amount of his chakra, making it easy for Naruto to kill him. Obito might be dead, but that didn't mean that they won just yet. Madara proved himself to be a tough opponent. If that weren't bad enough, he revived the Juubi without sealing the Hachibi and Kyuubi. Naruto did his best to fight the Juubi in Biju mode, despite Kurama's warning of being too strong for him to handle. True to his warning, the Juubi overwhelmed him. As a result, Biju mode wore off from exhaustion, placing him and his comrades in a bad situation. Luckily for them, the Shinobi Alliance arrived, much to Madara's annoyance. The Shinobi Alliance hit the Juubi with everything they had, still it did them no good. While they were fighting the Juubi, Sakura was healing Naruto injuries. Someone else made their way onto the battlefield. It was no other than Sasuke himself. "It's been a while since we last saw each other, dope. Still the hopeless loser I see." Sasuke smirked, not even paying Naruto any attention. His former teammates and everyone else were surprised that the young Uchiha was now taking part in the battle. Every Kumonin glared murderously at Sasuke, being responsible for their Raikage losing his left arm and wanted to make him pay. But for now they had to remain focused on the task at hand. The Kumonin weren't the ones who was resentful toward Sasuke. Kurama growled within Naruto's subconscious, wanting nothing more than to tear him apart. Naruto chuckled, ignoring Sasuke's insult. "Good to see you too, team. What do you say we take Madara down?" "Just don't get in my way, loser," Sasuke replied. "Oh Sasuke-kun, I knew you won't let the Akatsuki to manipulate you. Not for an instant did I ever believe you'd ever do such horrible things." Sakura squealed with hearts in her eyes. Everyone sighed in annoyance seeing the pink-haired Chunin break into her fangirl phase, and on the battlefield no less. Naruto, on the other hand, had expected this kind of reaction from the Kunoichi. "Watch and learn, Naruto, I'll show you how a true ninja fights." The young Uchiha boosted, activating his Sharingan, rushing over to Madara. "Madara, I challenge you to see which one of us is the superior Uchiha. You honestly think you're a match for me?" Madara inquired darkly, crossing his arms. "I'll kill you before you can even blink. However, since you're an Uchiha, I'll give you an offer and let you live. Join me, and together we can lead this world to peace." "I'll pass. The only thing I want from you is your life, Susanoo." Sasuke yelled as tall purple skeleton possesses demonic horns, a long appendage on its chin, and a malevolent grin surround him. The upper half of Susanoo is materialized, with legs becoming common once it reaches its full humanoid form. "Very well then, you had your chance. You'll have plenty of time to rethink your decision after you're dead." Madara charged with the Juubi. The two Uchiha clashed, sending a powerful shockwave across the battlefield. Everyone distanced themselves away from the battle as possible, not wanting to get caught in the crossfire. Sasuke stroked the Juubi multiple times with his sword but didn't cause any permanent damage. He then used Amaterasu to trap the Juubi in its place and finally hitting the beast with it. Although it appeared that Sasuke had the upper hand, only for his short victory to be torn away as the black flames disappeared. "That's it, that's all you've got? If that's the full extent of your powers, then I am deeply disappointed." The Uchiha leader looks at Sasuke with disgust in his eyes. "What did you do? Why did the black flames of Amaterasu extinguish like that?" Sasuke demanded. "It's one of the powers of the Rinnegan, allowing the user to the ability to absorb chakra in any form. That also includes physical contact. Any ninjutsu you try to use against me will be absorbed. Madara answered. If that's the case then I'll cut your eyes out. Sasuke declared, ready to attack. Unlikely, I've humored you long enough. The time has come for you to die now and for this world to sleep forever. I don't think so. I am Sasuke Uchiha, I shall never fall. He cried. You may be an Uchiha, but that doesn't mean you're my equal. In the entire history of the Uchiha clan, I've seen many with potential, but when I look at you, all I see is a failure who was only lucky to be born into a noble clan. Madara taunts. I'll kill you. Sasuke yells. A sadistic smile appeared on the Uchiha leader's face. What a fool, Juubi annihilate him. The Juubi opened its mouth preparing to unleash a Bijuu bomb. On the sidelines everyone was watching the two Uchiha go at it. During the battle the 5 Kage recovered and made it to the battlefield thanks to Tsunade's medical ninjutsu. Sasuke however wouldn't be so lucky to come out alive. That arrogant fool is about to die and he doesn't even know it. I didn't want to tell you this kid, but there's nothing you or anyone else here can do to stop Juubi, not even I have the power to defeat him. Kurama told Naruto. Naruto smiled. It's funny, from the moment Madara summoned that beast I knew we couldn't stop it. At least not the way I had hoped. You've got a plan? The Bijuu inquired. I think you already know what I've got planned. My only question is Kurama, are you with me? The blonde ninja asked. Kurama looked at the blonde before saying. I'm not surprised, after you are the son of the Yondaime. I'm with you all the way kid, let's take care of Madara for good. Naruto nodded in response, he looks at all the over ninja. Gaara, there's something I need you to do for me. The Godime Kazekage turns his attention away from the fight to speak to his friend. What is it, Uzumaki? Protect everyone with your sand, I don't want anyone to get hit with my final attack. Naruto replied. Final attack? What exactly do you mean by that? He questioned. Let me put to you this way. I'm not ever going back. He said with a smirk. Immediately the Godime Kazekage knew exactly what Naruto was planning to do. Never before did he ever believe Naruto would resort to this sort of tactic. Naruto you can't be possibly be thing of. The blonde raised his hand silencing Gaara from speaking any further. There's no other way, if Madara isn't stopped now, then the entire world will be under his rule, and I won't let that happen. Naruto changes into Bijuu mode, taking one last look at everyone and smiles. Goodbye, everyone. He dashes off towards the battlefield while the others were wondering Naruto had planned and why he was saying farewell. What the hell is that baka doing? Sakura questioned to everyone. Naruto Uzumaki, you're a brave shinobi right to the very end. Gaara said to himself, his hair covering his eyes shedding a tear. Madara stared down at the young Uchiha he was about to destroy when out of nowhere he's grabbed from behind by Naruto. They held Madara's arms place preventing him using any hand signs and wrapped his legs around his waist. What the hell are you doing? Madara struggling to get free. I'm putting an end to you and your twisted schemes. Naruto replied, tightening his grip. And how do you plan on accomplishing such a task? You can't possibly fight me without using your hands and feet. Madara said rhetorically. Naruto smirked. You're right about that, but what I got in mind. There's no need for me to fight you, just hold you in place. What good will that do? Madara narrows his eyes. You're about to find out and afterwards it'll be the last thing you see. I guarantee it. Naruto declares as his chakra flares up to the sky. The fiery yellow flames of Kurama's chakra was so immense that the shinobi on the sidelines had to shield their eyes. What's happening? Tsunade yells, having a difficult time seeing. It'll be alright everyone just remain here and don't move. Gaara states, head bowed down. Any idea what he's doing? Kankuro inquired to his younger brother. He's preparing to make the ultimate sacrifice. He answered, shocking everyone. You've got to be kidding me. Why would he be willing to do something that'll cost him his own life? Kuritsuchi inquired, not understanding the Konoha ninja reasons. No clue, but if I had to guess I'd say he didn't have any other choice. Madara's just too strong. Inoki said, clenching his fist in anger thinking back to the fight he and his fellow Kage had with the Uchiha leader. Will this even work? Madara's already dead and he's attempting to give up his own life, then it'll all be for nothing. Tamari said. I'm not quite sure of that. Gaara readying his sand to defend everyone. The only thing we can do now is watch. Kurama's chakra had engulfed Naruto, Madara, and the Juubi in a sphere. Naruto's aura sparkled around his body. The skin on Madara's Ito Tenshi body was tearing off, horrifying him. Something wrong, you look afraid. Naruto said. Far from it. If you a jutsu like this will be able to stop, you're sadly mistaken. Madara countered. That's funny, whoever said I'd be stopping you with one of my jutsu? Naruto smirked. This right here is no jutsu at all. Caught off guard by this, the Uchiha leader eyes widen. What did you say? You heard me, this isn't a jutsu. All I did is gather both mine and Kurama's chakra, focusing it into a giant orb. Soon it'll explode, taking the three of us along with it. Don't think because you're Edo Tenshi this won't affect you. I seen enough of you dead shinobi to know that best way of stopping you would be to contain you. Naruto told him. Are you insane? Release me now or you'll regret it. Madara demanded, struggling to get loose. Struggle all you want. I'm not letting go, no matter what. Naruto replied. If you go through with this, you'll be killing yourself as well. Madara told him. Madara had hoped that the blonde would reconsider his decision, giving him the opportunity to strike Naruto and extract Kurama. Unfortunately for him that didn't work. Doesn't matter. Truth be told, I refuse to die until I become Hokage, but if it's to protect the lives of my precious people, I'll gladly give up my life for them. Naruto exclaimed. Naruto's body began to glow brighter, memories of his past came to the surface, his awful childhood, becoming a genin, the forming of Team 7, confronting Haku and Zabuza, taking the Chunin exams, meeting Jiraiya, getting acquainted with Tsunade and Shizune, hitting Kabuto with his Rasengan, fighting Sasuke at Valley of the End, training with Jiraiya for 3 years, and the chance to see his parents. Naruto unleashes a massive explosion that filled the entire battlefield. Sasuke would have hit by it if he hadn't fled to battlefield the moment Naruto's chakra expanded, feeling he was going to do the same thing Madara did in their fight. Everyone on the sidelines were alright thanks to Gaara's ultimate defense. The blast from the explosion went on for miles, tearing apart the landscape. Everything within the blast's range was destroyed, including nearby islands were reduced rubble. After a while the blast began to fade away, leaving nothing but a very large crater. The Godin Kazukiya's sand went back inside his gourd. Every shinobi looked upon the spot where Naruto, Madara, and the Juubi once stood. The shinobi who watched from a distance rushed towards the crater to find Naruto, but there was nothing left but his Konoha headband. Meaning 2 things, he had succeeded in putting an end to Madara region of terror and he'd obliterated himself to do so. Is he really gone? Temari asked. I don't want to believe it's true. But no one could have withstand a blast like that and survive. Gaara said, looking up into the sky. He sacrificed himself without any hesitation in all my years as Raikage. I never meant to find shinobi such as him. Commented Naruto's bravery. Tsunade, you've done a splendid job in nurturing the shinobi of your village. The blonde Sannin nodded in response, growing a smirk. Let's mourn the loss of Naruto Uzumaki, the hero who saved the shinobi world. Inoki said, looking down at the genin's headband. One of the Suna ninja picks it up and personal hands it to Gaara. They were happy no the less that their ultimate enemy of all time, Madara Uchiha, had finally been defeated. Everyone bowed there to honor their savior except a select few. Those who weren't saddened by Naruto's death were the people of Konohagakure. As it turned out, they still only thought of him as the Kyuubi reincarnated and were beyond happy that he was finally dead. This was confirmed when everyone saw a group of Konoha ninja cheering. That the demon is dead, now we can stop pretending to be his friends. Right guys? Ino said to the other members of the Konoha 12. Mostly Sakura, Niji, Tenten, Kiba, Shino, and mostly shockingly Hinata who nodded in agreement. The majority of Konoha began to celebrate, which disgusted the other Kage and Ninja. You ungrateful bastards. How can you stand there smiling like that? He saved your worthless lives and you still hate him. Gaara roared as he raised his killer intent. Mei and Inoki felt the same as the Kazukage. Holding the blonde in high regard as a true hero and not just as a ninja. He had the respect from the other villages and the Kage wanted his sacrifice to be honored. Inoki steps forward. If there's one that the ninja of Iwagakure knew, it was to never anger Hitsuchikage. Naruto Uzumaki is no demon, if not for him we'd all under the infinite Tsukiyomi Genjutsu right about now. I will not tolerate anyone defiling his sacrifice. Who cares? The demon's dead and we don't ever have to worry about him ever again. Tsunade said with smirk on her face. Originally I'd planned send him on a mission, then have the Anbu execute him, either way I'm satisfied. Good riddance. I was sick and tired of that baka always asking me to go on a date with him. With him out of the picture he can't interfere me and my Sasuke-kun's happiness. Sakura said. Once we get back to Konoha, I say we burn his house down. Hinata suggested, which they all agreed to. That dope couldn't be any more of a fool than he already was, killing himself to get a victory. I could have beaten Madara all on my own. Sasuke smirked. If Konoha thought Gaara was angry at them for celebrating Naruto's demise. Hearing Tsunade brag about how she was attempting to have his best friend murder made him wish he still had Shukaku sealed inside him and unleash its fury on them. Little did Konoha know their hatred towards Naruto would cost them dearly and they didn't even know it. The Konoha ninja felt a powerful presence coming from behind them. In fact, Kakashi wet himself. The piss was dripping from the bottom of his pants and for a good reason. There stood a tall and pale-skinned man who had deep wrinkles. He has spiky, shoulder-length pale red hair with a chin-length braid hanging in front of his left ear. He also sported a goatee, which is tapered down to his waist. He has a pair of horn-like protrusions extending from either side of his forehead, Rinnegan eyes and no eyebrows. He also has a red Rinnegan marking in the center of his forehead. Wearing a white full-length kimono with a pattern of 6 black magatama around a high collar, beneath which he wore a necklace which was also made up of 6 black magatama. On the back of his kimono was a larger black Rinnegan, marking with a pattern of 9 magatama arranged in 3 rows of 3 beneath it. I'm very disappointed in you, Konoha ninja. You're blinded by your own hatred towards that young boy, Naruto. The elderly man said with venom in his voice. Who are you? Sakura asked, feeling fear from the man. My name is Hagoromo Otsutsuki, however you humans know me better as the Rikidm Sennin. All the shinobi gasped in shock that the man standing before them was the man said to be the one who created ninjutsu. You're lying, everyone knows the Rikudo Sennin a myth. Tsunade said, despite her outburst she's still trembling with fear. Oh am I? Rather you believe me or not, makes very little difference to me. The reason I've come here was to inform you of Naruto Uzumaki's fate. Hagoromo said. What about Naruto? Is he still alive? The Goddamn Kazuki-age inquired. Hagoromo shake his head. I'm afraid not, he really did die in that blast. There's no need fret, it's true Naruto might be dead, but he won't be long. Are you saying you can bring him back from the dead? Mei asked, having doubt of such a claim. No, such a task far exceeds my power. My friend Shinigami-sen has chosen to give Naruto a second chance in life. The shinobi who sided with Naruto were relieved to hear their savior will returning to them. While the Konoha ninja were outraged, shouting all kinds of blasphemy. That had been stopped a killer intent from Hagoromo. I'd advise you keep your mouths shut if want to keep breathing. Hagoromo threatened. As I already said, Shinigami-sen will bring Naruto back to life, but he won't be returning to this world. Why not? Tamari questioned, figuring there must be a reason. I'm not certain what Shinigami-san has in store for Naruto. I am merely here as a messenger, and the message has been received. Hagoromo replied, turning his gaze on the Konoha ninja. Now, the time has come to deal with you Konoha scum. For all your crimes against Naruto, I hereby strip you of your chakra and all your ninjutsu. The Rikidm Sennin raised his hand as the chakra was being expelled from their bodies like air particles. The Konoha ninja were screaming in agony, soon the pain stopped. Tsunade reverted to her true form, the members Hyuga clan lost their Byakugan, since the Aburama clan no longer had chakra their bugs died, the Inyazuka clan couldn't understand their canine partners, and Sasuke Sharingan is no more. What have you done to us? Sasuke inquired, his body really weak. The chakra I granted you with is gone now, without it you'll never be able any sort of justice. Consider this your punishment people of Konoha, for the crimes against Naruto. Enjoy the rest of your pathetic lives. With that Hagoromo disappeared. But the fourth great shinobi war at end, tales of Naruto's sacrifice spread around the world less than a week. Since his body was wiped from existence, they had his headband place on a grave marker which says Naruto Uzumaki, a true shinobi and the world's greatest hero. As for the Konoha shinobi, after having their chakra taken away they'd been killed by the other village shinobi. But they didn't stop there, anyone from Konoha who was against Naruto were executed or imprisoned. Unknown abyss. Floating in a realm of complete darkness, not a glimmer light could be seen. Falling deeper into the darkness which seemed like an eternity. The further he fell into darkness, the more he began to lose himself, never again to return. His body felt like it was on fire, and every single muscle was being burnt to ashes. No matter how hard he tried to fight off the pain, eventually it became too for him to bear. The cycle kept repeating itself and felt as though everything around him was slowly evaporating, leaving him alone or so he thought. Flames shot at him from out of nowhere, escape was impossible as the flames followed him everywhere and engulfed him. Suddenly the flames took on the shape of a large demon with wings. The demon grabbed him into its grip, staring his prey in the eyes. Even though the demon was made of flames he appears to have a sinister look on his face, then devours his prey whole. Now falling through a vortex of flames and at the bottom was a pool of fire, upon impact it caused an explosion. Naruto, awaken Naruto. A voice called. Slowly gaining conscious, memories of the war and his fight with Madara rushed through his mind. Picking himself up then and saw the most beautiful woman that he'd ever laid eyes on. The woman before him had long wavy black hair that contrast against her blood-red eyes and pale skin, along with her voluptuous figure. She is wearing a bright violet kimono that hangs loose, revealing a good amount of her cleavage, and is tied with a red obi. Who are you, and what is this place? Naruto questions the woman. To answer you questions in order, I am Shinigami, goddess of death, but I prefer it if you would call me Yami. As for where we are, this is Limbo, the border between life and death. The goddess explained to the blonde with a warm smile. Naruto could only nod, dumbly now knowing he's in the presence of the Shinigami. To be honest with himself, she didn't look anything like a Shinigami. I've been watching you since the day of you were born, the life you endured was undoubtedly painful with many sorrows. Still you never gave into your hatred, but that's not the only thing I'm grateful for. You took care of that bothersome, Madara Uchiha. I warned that fool defying death will have dire consequences, and now he and his lackey Obito are paying the price for their actions. Yami said. Naruto's eyes widen. Are you saying my plan worked? The blonde was really interested to hear if he was successful in his efforts. After all he had done for his village including the other villages of the elemental nations. Sacrificing his life meant nothing to him since he knew that he did the right thing by saving them from Madara's wrath. He waited there patiently waiting for a reply from the goddess. Yami's expression changed as her look now held sadness and anger. You did, Naruto-kun, you saved them all. As a god I congratulate you in your decision for doing what you thought was best, I'm proud of you, but at the same time really angry at what happened after your passing. She answered before looking down in shame, still not getting over what she'd witnessed. Naruto simply narrowed his eyes at the goddess, curious as to what could have angered her. Yami sighs sadly, knowing the blonde deserves the absolute truth. She slowly made her way towards him and placed her hand on his forehead. The blonde was about to ask what she was doing, then a barrage of image started rushing through his head. He saw the people he'd given his life to save, they all looked sad over his death. Except the ones from Konoha who expressed themselves in happiness and joy over his death. The Konoha cruel words, confessing that they were never his friends and Tsunade plot to eliminate him. Naruto falls to his knees with tears dripping from his eyes at what he'd seen. He lowered head before saying with a broken voice. I don't understand. I did everything for them and for Konoha. All to show them I was loyal Konoha ninja, not a demon. Why me? More tears fell from his eyes however he smiled slightly at the ones that did respect him. His best friend Gaara and the other Kage that stood up for him and respected him did rekindle his spirits a bit. Something like this won't be easily forgotten. Yami shed a few tears seeing Naruto so broken and gave him a sympathetic look, gently placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. I am so sorry for you having to suffer through all that. Believe me, it tore me up seeing you get hurt and even now it's hard for me to keep it together without destroying something. Now let's get on to more important matters. The goddess said softly as she kept her eyes on the blonde. Naruto looked at the goddess with a confused expression putting the things he'd witnessed aside. Rubbing his eyes, he wiped away the tears he had as he looked over at her. What do you mean Yami-sama? He asked now showing a great deal of eagerness. Yami wiped away her own tears as she gave the blonde a tender smile. I'm giving you another chance with a new life Naruto-kun. The goddess of death told him, hoping he'd take her offer. The blonde couldn't believe what he had just been told by the goddess of death. Are you serious? I'm really getting a second chance. It may have sounded too good to be truth, of course anyone would have doubt if they were in his position. However this was the goddess of death and he dared not question her judgment or there will be hell to pay. Yami nodded and smiled. What I'm saying is, you'll be sent to a new dimension. I've watched you grow into the man you are today, time and time again shown courage and determination, just what I'd expect from the child of prophecy. No one other than you has earned a second chance, Naruto-kun. Having seen the hardships Naruto endured in the past, all because he couldn't control the Kyuubi. Turning a pure-hearted boy's childhood into a nightmare gave the goddess all the more reason to do so. Naruto smiles as he picks himself up. Okay Yami-sama, I accept your offer. When can I go to the place you have in mind? I am prepared to go there. The blonde knew that living a new life would finally give him a shot at happiness and wouldn't miss that for anything. He deserved that much. The goddess of death chuckled at Naruto's enthusiasm as her smile grew. Settle down Naruto-kun. Before I send you to the place I've picked out for you. We have to talk about a few things. First there are a couple of people who'd like to see you. To see me? Who? Naruto asked the goddess. It's not that hard to figure out, Gaki. A voice came nowhere. Naruto's eyes widened and for good reason he knew that voice anywhere. Can it be? Naruto slowly turns around to see Jiraiya, Minato, Kushina and Sarutobi standing behind him. They looked exactly like they did when they were alive. Mom? Kushina nodded smiling at her son dad. Minato who also nodded Iro-sen smiling with grit teeth Jiji smiling happy to see Naruto again. My, you've grown since the last time I saw you Naruto-kun. Sarutobi told him. Jiji. Naruto cried running towards his grandfather figure, giving him a bone-crushing hug. The Sandaime Hokage was actually glad to be dead at the moment, otherwise he'd be in serious pain right about now. I've missed you so much, Jiji. The blonde said, remembering the day he'd been murdered by his former student. There Naruto-kun it's alright. Even though I wasn't there anymore Kami-sama informed me of everything you've done and I'm proud of how much you've accomplished. Sarutobi praised. Naruto sees his parents Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki and embraces them. Oh, Naruto your father and I are so happy to see you. Kushina said her son. Me too. Naruto cried, holding them tighter. Not only have you surpassed me, you helped so many lives more times than I did. I couldn't be happier to be your father. Minato added. I'm not surprised, I always knew he'd rise to greatness. Like father, like son. Jiraiya stated. Naruto looked at the people around him and realized that this might be the last time he'd ever see them again, having accepted Yami's proposal. Kushina saw this and says. Don't be sad Naruto, this isn't goodbye. It's see you later and I hope you live a better life than your old one. Someday when you meet that special someone and have children, please name your first child after me. Kushina said, crying tears of joy. Your mother's right, no matter where you are or where you go we will always be with you. Inside you heart. Minato stated. He presented his Hiraishin kunai to his son. Naruto I'd like for you to have this, it was always my intentions to pass this down to you when you became the right age. Naruto nodded accepting the kunai. Thank you father, I promise I'll put this technique to good use. Take care of yourself, okay son. Minato stated, smiling at his son one last time. With that he and Kushina disappeared. The Sandaime Hokage bowed his head to Naruto. I want to apologize to you Naruto. I wasn't there when you need me most, if I could go back in time to correct my mistakes I would. Naruto shook his head. I know you would, Jiji. Don't blame yourself, none of it's not your fault, both you and Iruka-sensei were the first to accept me. The kindness you've shown is what first inspired me to become Hokage. Sarutobi remembered the times when he wasn't on duty he'd spend with Naruto so he wouldn't be lonely. Despite his antics he cared deeply for Naruto's well-being. For all the good you've done for Konoha and spite the way you were treated. I'm honored to give this to you as requested by both the Shodai and Nidaime Hokage. Sarutobi said as a scroll appeared before the blonde. It contains information on Fukinjutsu, and every jutsu I've mastered is in here, so don't go overboard while training. Naruto nodded and hugged Sarutobi again one last before disappeared, leaving only him and Jiraiya. Well Iro-sennin, what sort of jutsu do you have for me? Naruto asked. Nothing. Your expertise have gone beyond what I originally thought. Out of all who I taught in the past, you and your father were the most remarkable students. I'm honored to have been your teacher, Naruto. Jiraiya said with pride in his voice. Here, I would like you to have this. A red book appeared in Naruto's hand, the pages were blank. Keep my legacy alive. The blonde knew what his godfather's referring to. As much as he detested Icha, he had a feeling writing books would come handy. Okay Iro-sennin. Just so you know I'll give the protagonist your name. Naruto said. Oh is that so? Does the main character get a beautiful woman as his bride or will he get himself a harem? Jiraiya questions his godson, his face lit up like a Christmas tree at the anticipation. Maybe, who knows? A good writer never tells the ending. Naruto replied. The white-haired Sannin laughs at Naruto's remark, patting him on the shoulder. That's the kind of answer I'd expect from a writer. Now go and live your new life. Both smiling at each other right before Jiraiya disappeared. Naruto looks at the goddess of death who had silent the entire time. Thank you, Yami-sama. He said. Don't mention it, and besides I couldn't let you leave without seeing your loved ones. Yami said. I, myself have a gift for you as well. Appearing around Naruto's neck is the Shodai Hokage's necklace that had been destroyed in his fight against Pain now completely restored. The Shodai Hokage's necklace. Why would you want to give me this? Naruto asked. If you recall what Jiraiya said, it's valuable as 3 gold mines. That necklace will help get you some money and a more settled place to live. Yami explained. Naruto liked the sound of that, back in Konoha the only place he could afford was his rundown apartment after he'd gotten kicked out the orphanage. Yami-sama you're the best, with money like that. I can open my own ramen shop Naruto stated. Don't get ahead of yourself, there's something important I have to discuss with you. The goddess told him. Naruto nodded in understanding. As you're possibly aware as the goddess of death I have the power bring a person back from the dead, however there are certain prerequisites for it to work. For instance the body and soul must be intact. What do you mean? Naruto questioned. That stunt you pulled wiped your body from existence, so I was unable to revive you with my usual method. Yami answered. You said you couldn't revive a person if their body and soul aren't intact. So then, I shouldn't be standing here. Normally that'd be the case, a soul without a body fade into nothingness. However there is another method I used revive you Naruto-kun, and all I needed to do is bind your soul to a living being. Yami informed. What? Naruto exclaims, shocked by the news. I believe it's time to get acquainted with your new partner. Yami said. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto and Yami are in his mindscape only now it wasn't in a sewer. They were on an island filled with fruit trees. Yami told Naruto to follow her, she guided him all the way to a cave once inside they face to face with a dragon. The dragon is extremely large with golden scales that shined in the light. Two massive horns that framed its forehead, a pale yellow underbelly, and pale golden hair that flowed down its spine and ended in a bushy tail, long whiskers with crimson eyes. At last we meet, hatchling. Yami has told me a lot about you. The dragon said. Who is this, Yami-sama? Naruto asked, his eyes still on the dragon before him. His name is Raishin, and he's no ordinary dragon. Raishin is the king of all dragons. Yami replied. She speaks the true, hatchling, but because you and I are now of one body and soul. Therefore you are my successor. Raishin said. Wait, if the two of us share the body, then what happened to Kurama? Yami sighs and said. He's gone, I'm afraid. When you destroyed your body he was too, and there was nothing I could to bring him back. The blonde looks up into the sky, even though he appears sad. He was able to smile a little. There's no need for apologize. Sure, I'm sad that Kurama's gone, but I'm also glad that he and I got a chance to become friends after so long. He even willingly went along my idea to stop Madara knowing he'd die too. And even though I can't see him anymore, I can tell that wherever he is, he's happy, laughing himself silly because we won. Yami smiled at the blonde's words. That's another thing I needed to tell you. When I bounded your soul to Raishin's, you became a dragon yourself, giving you a new body and altering your appearance. A large mirror appears in front of Naruto. Have a look. What Naruto saw gave him the biggest surprise he'd ever had in his life. He now has muscular body that most men could only dream of having. His spiky blonde hair had grown longer past his shoulders. He had grown taller over 6'0". Dragon scale patterns from his forearms down to his torso. The whiskers he had since birth were gone. What really got attention was the fact he has the Sharingan activated. Why do I have the Sharingan? Naruto asked. Because I gave you all of Madara's powers. Yami answered. Consider it another reward from me to you for excellent service and proving to the shinobi world that anyone can accomplish anything as long as they believe and never give up no matter what the odds. Raishin, I leave Naruto-kun in your hands, train him well. With that, Yami vanished. You're going to be training me? Naruto asked the dragon. Yes. Otherwise the other dragons will never respect a king that's weak and your title as Dragon King will be diminished. I see. So when do we get started with my training? Right now. And don't expect me to go easy on you either. Raishin replied. Naruto smirked. Alright, Raishin-sensei, whenever you're ready, bring it on. I like that look in your eyes, this'll be interesting indeed. Flashback ends. 3 months passed since Yami brought Naruto to this dimension. The people of this world spoke in a different language. With the help of his Sharingan he learned how to speak English. Even so, there were several whose language is similar to his own, only it's called Japanese. He'd also learned this place is called Earth, one of the biggest countries named USA, short for the United States of America, and more advanced than the elemental nations. Naruto discovered there are so people with powers calling themselves superheroes, and they protect their lands and homes with skill to jutsu and marksmanship, while others were like bloodline limits, except they didn't use hand signs. Naruto decided to get some information about them. Apparently the most known and famous heroes of this world are two characters, although it's easy to tell they are the complete opposite of each other. The first is Superman. His choice of clothing were red boots, with red pants, blue shirt with a giant S on his chest with a red cape. He also wore what appeared to be a pair of boxers over his pants, or maybe they were part of his pants. All of them look skin tight, and he is very muscular. His strength is still in question, seeing how he is able to lift objects that should be beyond his ability to lift. He's very fast, also has the power of flight. It made the blonde wonder how Superman's powers compared to his, even so he was certainly impressed by the Man of Steel and his heroism. The second can be considered Superman's opposite. This person called himself Batman. He was dark and mysterious, but at the same time honorable and skilled. He was dressed in something like a bat costume of gray, dark blue and black. His bat-like mask covered the upper half of his face that looked similar to the masks worn by some ninja of my world. His gray and dark blue pants and armor similar to that of Anbu's standard clothing, and his belt, which was yellow and had many pockets, looked like my ninja pouches and kunai holsters. His cape offers great camouflage in the dark, and his appearance can intimidate a normal person. This hero was normal and used high-tech devices to compensate for his lack of special power. From what Naruto read, he is a good fighter and solves criminal cases that most consider impossible to solve. Which is why he's also known as the world's greatest detective. These individuals operate in two different cities, one watches over the skies of Metropolis, while the other guards from the darkness of Gotham City. Both are highly respected and known around the world. Still thinking about them, hatching? Interrupted the voice of his companion. I am, for some reason. He responded with a straight thought. Could it be that you want to be like them? A hero of this world too? Raishin thought. The idea crossed my mind several times. What I'm mainly concerned about is, will I be able to form any true bonds? And will there be those who'll accept me? Naruto inquired. Who knows? But I do know this, if you continue to dwell in the shadows as a recluse you'll never know. Remember Yami gave you this opportunity to make a fresh start, don't let it go to waste. You're right. Thank you Raishin. Naruto expressed his gratitude. Think nothing of it. He replied. The blonde's chain of thoughts was cut off when I heard and saw the image of a man flying overhead. And indeed it was, Superman himself was flying above him and headed towards a different section of the forest. Think we should check it out and see what's going on? I mean trouble is always following this guy. Why not, there's nothing else to do. Also it could be good way to test the results of my training for the past year. Naruto added. Don't let your guard down, I have a feeling that things are about to get a lot more interesting for us. Raishin told his successor. If that's the case, then I won't miss out on it. I've stayed on the sidelines for far too long, the time has come to show this world what the king of all dragons can do. Naruto smirked, taking off into the air after Superman. End chapter. Chapter 1. Secret Origins Part 1. Metropolis Substation. Naruto continued to follow Superman but made sure to fly higher so he wouldn't be noticed. Superman reached what looked like a hidden communications post. The Dragon King thought that it was very high-tech, judging by the dish on top, although he couldn't understand why for all its technology and obvious value, that it had little to no security staff. Naruto wondered to himself why the Man of Steel would come to a place like this. He came out of his thoughts when he saw Batman on top of the building, fighting a very large woman and two others, all of them appear to be scientists. They fought against Batman with amazing speed and strength. Something's not right, it may be 3 against 1, but feels something's wrong. Naruto thought. You're not the only one, hatchling. The scent I'm getting from those 3 aren't that of your average humans, I'd say they're not human at all. Raishin added. Naruto thought about going down there to help Batman, but wanted to see how he'd handle them for a while longer. Having only read about the Dark Knight, he wanted to see if he was as great as he'd heard, however he didn't get the chance as Superman came to his aid. Superman's arrival made the 3 mysterious scientists retreat and before they could be dealt with, Superman starts to scream holding his head in pain before falling unconscious. What the hell just happened? One minute the guy's fine then the next he's in agony. Is it possible their attacks are invisible? Naruto inquired. As the scientists were running, the old man of the group takes out a device and presses down on it. The antenna and the whole base itself blew up, but Batman managed to get Superman on his side and used his grappling hook to escape the explosion before skidding to a stop on the ground. Perhaps it's best for me to hang back a while. I don't know what's going on yet, but I instead to find out. Naruto thought. Although part of him felt relieved that he didn't have to reveal himself just yet, and since the 2 heroes were safe, his attention quickly went to the scientists. His eyes widened seeing them disfigured in ways that he never thought to be possible. The way their bodies had been twisted into positions such as that should be fatal, but they are still alive as if nothing had happened. The scientists or whatever they are suddenly started to reassemble themselves, a minute later they were back to normal, then headed into the woods, while one of them clicks their tongue at the heroes, far as anyone could figure it meant be seeing you. The heroes themselves continued to watch them leave before talking among themselves. At the end, Superman seemed to give something to Batman and flew off. Said object looked like a watch, and Batman puts it in his utility belt before he turns and left. Despite everything that's occurred so far, this was quite amusing. What do you think, Raishin? Naruto asked his predecessor. I suspicious about them not be human was correct, go after them. Raishin requested. Right. Naruto replied. Turning around Naruto quickly followed after the monster scientists as they made their escape through the woods. After a few minutes he found them, but decided to stay hidden and cut them off. The 3 were walking calmly through the forest when they saw a person in front of them standing in the shadows of a tree. Sorry, but this is the end of the road. A figure spoke in a deadly voice. Out of the way. Spoke the woman, clearly not interested. That ain't happening, Batman may be finished with you, but I'm just getting started. I have questions that you'll be answering. We'll answer none of your questions, you are just wasting our time and your life. This time it was the old man that spoke, with the same monotone, lifeless voice as the woman. Oh, I don't think so, you can find that I can be very persuasive. Naruto said, unleashing a killer instinct at the last part hoping to intimidate them, he wasn't bothered by their lack of reaction. This is your last warning, leave or die. This time it was the Chinese-looking one of the group that spoke, still not impressed with the figure, but getting annoyed at his refusal to leave. I will leave as soon as one of you tells me who are you and why you just blew that facility up. The Dragon King replied, now starting to tense and prepare for battle. That is none of your concern and since you chosen to stay, you have forfeited your life. The old man spoke again this time with a smirk on his face. The other 2 were putting some distance between them and preparing to attack their challenger. Well, it's been a while since I've been in battle, and this is just the exercise I need, so let the games begin. The blonde said with a grin on his face, getting in a taijutsu stance that he learned while training with Raishin. No sooner had he said that the three attacked, the old man going for a right hook, while the woman prepared to jump and give him an upper kick, while the Chinese-looking one went for a kick from the ground. Acting quickly, he dodged a punch that was coming at him and used his left fist to hit the old man in the stomach before bringing his right fist into his chin in an uppercut, followed by a knee to his gut and a right hook to the others coming at him. He quickly put a little distance between himself and the old man and gave him a hard kick that flew him backwards, knocking his younger male partner down with him. However, the woman was coming right at him, and it was only thanks to his reflexes that he was able to dodge the attack that left a small crater where he previously stood. Unfazed, the woman went on a rampage with fists flying, putting the Dragon King in defense. But Naruto went on the offense and gave the woman a few quick punches in her face and sides before kneeing her in the face, followed by a powerful roundhouse kick that sent her hurtling into a tree. Is that all you've got? If so, I'm disappointed, you guys are all talk and no action. As soon as those came from the young dragon's mouth, the old man ran at Naruto and attacked him with several punches and kicks, all which he blocked effortlessly, then grabbed the old man by his collar and slammed him hard into the ground. The woman, now back on her feet, once again attacked Naruto, and like before, he blocked each one of them. The woman followed by charging at the Dragon King, attempting to catch him, but Naruto jumped over her and turns her towards him, then punches her hard in the jaw, possibly breaking it. Naruto had punched her so hard she flew back a few feet away, leaving behind a trail of scuffed up dirt. If you don't want any further humiliation, I suggest you stay down. However, you're free to get up and continue, your choice. Naruto spoke emotionless. Naruto turns in time as their other partner tried to hit him with a few high kicks. Although he was caught by surprise, his reflexes allowed him dodge the kicks before he caught his foot in air and planted a punch to the man's face, sending him spinning. We can't waste any more time on him, the woman stated, getting on her feet, but head was turned completely around. She grabs her own head and turns it back in order. There's something we can agree on, just answer my questions, and I'll let you go. Naruto said, but truthfully he'd planned to annihilate them after learning who they are and what their goal is. After all, they're not humans, and it'd be a big mistake to let roam freely. Get to the city, I'll stay and cover you, the Chinese man said as he managed to lift himself off the ground. The other two nodded their heads and were preparing to run when Naruto spoke. You really think I'm going to let you get away? He said in a cold tone. I am your opponent, the Chinese man replied, who ran towards the blonde, attempting to kick him. Naruto moves out of the way, then punches him in the stomach, followed by one to the face. The two other scientists used this opportunity to run through the woods at top speed and were soon out of sight. Naruto laughs hysterically so much he held both hands over his stomach. Why are you laughing? Have you realized you're about to die? It's made you insane, the Chinese scientist asked. Nothing like that. But if you must know, I've really grown tired of asking, and if I take this fight more seriously you'll give me the answers I want, Naruto said. I've been taking it easy so far, but now I'm running out of patience. I'll ask you one final time, tell me what I want to know or be killed by me. You're gonna kill me, what a laugh. And you can forget about your questions, you won't need them after you die, he said. If that's your final decision, then answer me this. How do you picture your death, clean and quick or painfully slow? Naruto inquired. The Chinese man charged at his opponent with great speed. Naruto caught the man's fist with his left hand while he used his right fist to deliver a punch to the man's face, knocking him to the ground several feet away. Pushing himself back up, the man jumped, trying to give his opponent a kick to the chest, but missed as the Dragon King stepped to the side, then gave the man a few punches to the face and stomach before giving him a roundhouse kick to his lower chin, making him land on his back. His face was badly bruised from all attacks he suffered and some white liquid coming from his mouth. Walking slowly and calmly to the strange creature, the Dragon King lifts him up off the ground by his neck and looks in his eyes. Got any last words? If there's anything you want to say, better say it now, soon there won't be a trace of you left. These are my last words to you. You and this planet days are numbered and no one can stop us. The scientist laughs while his appearance changed gradually into some kind of organic humanoid creature with a mix of white, black and gray skin with red eyes. Naruto's eyes widened, greatly surprised by this new change, but showed no fear in the slightest and kept his cool. What are you? Naruto questions. Even if I told you, it won't matter. The now transformed creature shape shifted its right arm into bladed weapon, begging worthless human. With no time to react, the creature jabbed its blade straight in Naruto's forehead. His grip on the creature loosened as fell back to ground with a thud sound. That's what you get for trying to stand in our way. And soon every last human will be wiped out, the creature said. Suddenly Naruto's body turns into Moku Bunshin no Jutsu. What? The creature was shocked by this, then a blaze of fire shot at him, fortunately he dived out of the way in time. He looks towards in the direction it came from, and there stood Naruto alive and well with his arms crossed, even with his mask on it's easy to tell he's smiling. "Impossible, you can't be alive," the creature said baffled. Naruto smirked. "Now you're the one who's asking me questions. Even if I told you it won't matter." The creature had reached his limits with Naruto, this is proven as its left arm shape shift into a sword blade as well. "I've grown tired that tongue of yours, this time I'll cut off your head," the creature declares hostile. "Take your best shot," Naruto dared. Growling in anger the creature as he charges at Naruto dodging all his attacks, at the final strike Naruto pushed the creature a few feet, then performs a few hand seals. Rain. Nijtora, lightning release. Double tiger. Naruto generated lightning from both hands which takes shape of two tigers and hits the creature with it, he screams in pain and falls to the ground and melts into some liquid goo. The Dragon King moves towards the creature, or to be more precise, what was left of it. He touches the liquid substance with his index fingers, checking to be certain that the creature was dead. One of the lessons he'd been taught was when taking down an enemy make absolutely sure they're dead. Naruto walks away from the creature's remains. "That felt good, didn't it?" Raishin asked, his voice filled with amusement. "You mean fighting with some weird creatures, poking my nose in someone else's business, and testing my skills?" asked Naruto with a blank face and monotone voice. "Yeah." Raishin said, his tone never changing. "You better believe I did." The blonde replied with an evil grin and a smile on his face. "I enjoyed every moment of it. I can see that you're not going to give this up. At first I didn't know what to expect from this world, or even if I should involve myself with the people here. Fearing that I'd be treated the same, like in Konoha, but now I've realized something." The Dragon King replied with a smirk on his face. "What's that?" his tenant asked. "I just realized that Batman and Superman are basically magnets for danger and trouble, and the most of their enemies are pretty strong. If that's the case then maybe sticking with them, I'll meet even stronger opponents." The smirk never left his face. "I knew it would come to this, although I'm not surprised that you would want to fight stronger opponents. All dragons have a desire to fight stronger opponents, it's in our blood, and you're no exception even if you were once a human being," the dragon said with a smirk. "Not only will I fight stronger opponents. I'll make a name for myself, and then more of them will come to me looking to do battle," Naruto said, unable to control his excitement. "What's your next move, hatchling?" Raishin questions his successor. Naruto reaches into his pocket and takes out the Shodai Hokage's necklace. "If this is valuable in the elemental nations, then I can only imagine how much it'd be here. I can buy so much raiment. Not to mention finding a more suitable place to live than that rundown apartment you used to have," the dragon added. "Still there's something that thing said that bothers me." "What's that?" "It said our days were numbered and no would stop them. Something big is in the works. I feel the same as you do about this, but for now we have to bide our time." Naruto nodded in agreement, knowing it'd be pointless to go out blindly searching for the other creatures. Naruto flew from the woods with mind now set on making a better life for himself. "Time for a field trip to Metropolis," Naruto stated with an evil smirk. Metropolis. 3 weeks later. Naruto is walking the streets in his civilian clothes. He is wearing blue jeans, red t-shirt, jean sleeveless vest, and a pair of black combat boots. Naruto used Henge and Kage Bunshin to help earn himself a more decent living. His first move was selling Hashirama's necklace in a pawn shop. The owners were baffled at the sight of item before them, they had the gem checked out to see if it's real, and it proved too very valuable indeed. So much they didn't ask any questions regarding how he'd gotten such an item. The owners offered Naruto $650 billion for it, something he didn't expect, but didn't complain and accepted the money. Next he needed to found a place to live. He'd used Kage Bunshin creating several clones and ordered them to search around town for suitable place to stay. After hours of searching the clones dispelled transferring everything to him. As it turns out there were many homes to choice from, but the one that got his most attention was there had been a penthouse built on top one of the hotels. Naruto used a henge to transform into Jiraiya. While speaking with the owner about wanting to buy the penthouse, Naruto placed him under a genjutsu, which caused him to believe he'd be selling it to a family of 4, with the illusions being Minato, Kushina, and himself. The price of the penthouse was at $300,000. After purchasing and signing all the paperwork, it was officially his of course, he had to pay rent every 2 months. Afterwards Naruto would go into the city to buy clothes, food, furniture, and anything else that's suitable for his new home. Of course, every time he left he'd use henge to change into either one of his parents, Jiraiya, or have some Kage Bunshin pose as them, so no one would get suspicious of the blonde living on his own. It had taken Naruto at least 2 days before everything was set up to his liking. The 8-story luxurious penthouse is large, equipped with 8 flight of stairs, 12 bedrooms each the same size as a football field, 10 bathrooms, a state-of-the-art living room with a widescreen TV, kitchen, dining room, theater room, a game room, library, gym, home office, indoor hot spring, an outdoor swimming pool, and jacuzzi. Naruto had placed a seal on the elevator to alert him if anyone happens come into his home, also seals within his home. Every day Naruto scoured Metropolis from day to night, searching the streets for any signs of those creatures in disguise, but so far nothing out of the ordinary. Sometimes while searching he helped the city by taking down robbers and street thugs, but kept himself unnoticeable, which the police believed was Superman's doing. Speaking of Superman, he had agreed with this political figure, Carter, to disable weapons of mass destruction to obtain lasting peace, and agreed to watch over Earth. What a stupid idea. What happens when you're needed in more than one place at the same time? Naruto questions. He's too confident in his ability. No one can protect the whole planet, no matter how powerful he is. Raishin replied. Then he saw the report with a new superhero that sort of got his interest on how carefree he was. This hero was known as the Flash. I'm the fastest man alive, and even I can't be in 5 places at once. The Flash says from the TV. He's got a point. 6 months later. Naruto is on his way home from another unsuccessful search. From the looks of things, it appears nothing would be happening anytime soon. 6 months of searching aimlessly and still nothing. They're here somewhere, I can feel it in my bones. If only I knew where to find them. He thought, frustrated. He gazes in the sky, looking at the stars, and caught a glimpse of a person on the roof. Focusing his eyes, Naruto saw that the person in question was Batman. Today might be my lucky day, after all. Naruto thought with a smile. Not wasting any time, he takes a scroll from his pocket and runs into an alley, changing into his battle gear. Naruto flew in the same direction that led towards an abandoned warehouse that went by the name of Star Lab. Meanwhile, Batman was sneaking in the plant when he noticed 2 of the 3 scientists that he had confronted 6 months ago. They were talking in a strange language before they left the building after one last glance. The Dark Knight takes this opportunity to look around. While looking in the office that the 2 had left, he found 3 cocoons with people inside who looked awfully similar to the ones that had just left. Taking out a batarang, he sliced one of the cocoons open only to have the man inside fall onto his shoulder. Putting the man down, he checked his pulse and found out that he was alive. The growl of a dog suddenly broke the silence. Turning around, Batman found himself confronted by a dog, fangs bared, ready to rip him to pieces. Naruto arrives in time on the roof to see Batman knocked to the floor by a dog. He struggles to get the dog off by successfully kicking it to a desk. The Dark Knight jumps to the wall and on top of a rail, getting some distance, or so he thought. To his surprise, the dog slowly climbed its way up. Each step it was using its claws to grip the surface. But that wasn't all. The dog started to transform into some sort of beast. That looks exactly like the creature I fought in the woods that night, Naruto thought. His chain of thoughts was suddenly interrupted when he saw Batman being pushed through a window before hitting a shelf, causing it to fall on him. Now the creature is getting closer to the Dark Knight. Naruto jumped down between Batman and the beast. Sorry Dogi, but I'm afraid I have to put you to sleep. Naruto spoke with a smirk under his mask. I already know asking questions is useless. The dog tried to jump on Naruto, attempting to take a bite out of him. Naruto remained perfectly calm without a worry. His eyes morph into eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. Amaterasu. The dog had been consumed by the black flames, weeping in pain, and soon it melts into the same form of liquid covering the floor like he'd seen months ago, with the black flames still burning. Naruto takes a sealing scroll from his pouch and seals away the black flames. Acting quickly, he lifts the shelf off Batman and checked his pulse. Relieved that the Dark Knight was just bruised and unconscious. Naruto knew he couldn't take Batman to a hospital, since anyone wouldn't hesitate to learn his secret identity. He notices the watch Superman had given to him in his hand and presses the button on it. Suddenly it starts to beep. Time for me to go. Naruto spoke, then disappears with a Hiraishin no Jutsu. It didn't take long and Superman was already at the door. He sees Batman lying on the floor. Batman? Batman, can you hear me? Superman called. Superman wondered who could have done this to him, but his thoughts were suddenly interrupted when a light suddenly filled the room. The light itself was from a meteor that suddenly hit Metropolis Park. Skidding to a halt, it came to rest in the middle of a busy street, making a crater while stopping. Superman took to the skies with Batman in his hands, while Naruto teleports himself on one of the buildings and sees the flaming meteor. Emergency teams were gathered to assist with any injuries, while the firemen put out the meteor's flames. What happened next shocked everyone. Emerging from the meteor were 3 long legs and came out was a triangular head-looking enormous eyes walker. Its body is mainly white with red spots designs. This isn't anything like I've seen before. The Dragon King thought out loud. The unknown alien began its attack with a laser-like cannon, destroying a few police cars easily. Superman attacked, heading directly at its main cannon when it suddenly fired, hitting him with a lot of force and pushing him through a building and into the street. "It's nothing compared to those other creatures, that's for sure," Naruto said. Naruto saw several police officers' efforts to bring the alien walker down with their weapons, which proved to be futile as the alien walker turned its attention to them, ready to fire its cannon at them. He knew this was the time to join the battle. With his speed he appeared between the walker and the people, then used Rasen Shuriken to push it down to the ground. Naruto turns to officers. "All of you get out of here. Your weapons won't work against this thing, hurry and get to safety," Naruto ordered. The police quickly agreed after seeing that it was no use, which was proven as the alien walker got back up, proceeding to destroy the remaining cars. Naruto himself took to the air, avoiding its attack, at the same time seeing Batman use his grappling hook to reach his jet. Batman fired missiles from his jet, but it did no damage. But they did manage to get its attention. Superman used the distraction, knocking it down before he tried to rip it apart, but the walker shot him again, sending him through the wall again, though the wall, unlike Superman, couldn't take as much damage and collapsed on the hero in rubble. Naruto, looking back at the damage before noticing that the wall was slowly being lifted up, followed by Superman holding his head in pain, much like he had seen before. After a few seconds of blanking out, he flew away from the battle without so much as a reason. Where's he going? Naruto asked himself. He sees the Batwing headed towards the alien walker, followed by military aircrafts. After a few attacks from the military, Batman turns and goes in the same direction as Superman. First Superman and him too, what's so important they'd abandon these people? Naruto considered following him, but knew he couldn't leave the people here unprotected. He takes out the Hiraishin kunai and threw it at the tail of the Batwing, hitting it right on target. I may not know what this thing is, but that won't stop me from destroying it, Naruto thought. Go jet him, Raishin requested. Naruto flew at the alien walker with amazing speed, aiming for its leg with the Rasengan, but it wasn't enough to destroy it. However, he did manage to crack it, causing it move wobbly. Naruto grinned, proceeding to his next attack. This time Naruto attacked with 4 Kage Bunshin, each using Ldama Rasengan, simultaneously hitting the walker's leg with a lot of force so great its legs were blown off while its head remained. The real Naruto finished it off using his super strength to rip it in half. The alien walker may have been stopped, however the catastrophe was far from over. As more meteors came to the city and more alien walkers emerged from them, blasting everything in their way. The Dragon King's options weren't good indeed. As much as he wanted to fight those alien walkers, he had a feeling more would come. Shit, the longer this goes on the more difficult things are gotta get. If I waste time fighting, then people are liable to get killed. I gotta get them to safety. And find out where Superman's gone, Naruto stated. Time to get to work, Taj Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Over 200 Naruto clones appeared and the real Naruto gave out his orders. Listen up, I want all of you to get the people to safety, don't engage the enemy unless it's to defend them. Hi. The clones stated. The clones scattered across the city, bringing all the people to safety, effectively saving their lives. Of course there were some injuries, but none life-threatening. Good thing medics were there. Once they were brought to a secure area, Naruto used Mokuton to make a safe house for them to take shelter in. 2 hours later. At this rate the entire city will be destroyed. The Dragon King thought, looks away from the window, and to all the people that had been gathered away from the battlefield, families and friends were thankful none of them lost their loved ones. Yet that wasn't enough to ease their fears. Listen everyone, you should all be safe here, whatever happens please stay here. I have go now and deal with this problem, he told them. The people nodded, feeling grateful and at the same time sad because this new hero had to leave them. One woman had stepped forward, voicing the question on everyone's mind. Do you have to leave us? She asked with a worried expression. This woman and her 2 sons were trapped under a pile of rubble within a building that was hit by the alien's cannon. Naruto looks at her and puts a comforting hand on the woman's shoulders. Don't worry, everything gotta be alright. Things may look awful now, and that's exactly why I must go. I promise that I'll come back with a way to stop these things. You promise? She inquired, hoping his words weren't lies to save himself. I never go back on my word, not once have I ever broken my promises. And I don't intend to now. Naruto replied in pure honesty, smiling under his mask, assuring them that he would return. The women smiled and hugs the hero, somehow she tell, he truly meant those words. This brought a smile to everyone's faces and erased their fear, replacing it with newfound hope. After she let go, Naruto looks at them one last time. Then he made a few hand seals before he disappears in a yellow flash without a trace, shocking the people expect for a small boy who looked amazed. Cool. A little boy stated. Somewhere in the snowy mountains, at a US military base. Naruto appeared in a partly destroyed military base, taking his Hiraishin kunai from the end of Batman's jet. Looking around there wasn't single person in sight, that's when he saw a huge hole in the installation. He sniffs the air for Batman and Superman's whereabouts, detecting their scent coming from inside. They're definitely here, question is why. And there's another scent I'm picking up, but I can't tell who it is. Naruto thought. He had no time to think about that, as over a dozen soldiers were approaching carrying strange weapons following a trail of destruction. With his speed Naruto ran up the mountain, avoided being seen. The soldiers now had the base secured and their weapons ready to fire. Shortly afterwards Superman and Batman appeared with a newcomer. He is green-skinned with red eyes, a blue high-collared cape, a red belt with a yellow belt buckle, a pair of blue boots and 2 red straps crossing his chest in an X. Stop right there Superman. You're trespassing in a restricted area. Our orders are to keep that freak here. The general declared as his men aimed their weapons at them. Wait, I'll vouch for him. You must let us go. The man of steel said. I don't think so. He replied. But the world's security may be at stake. Superman tried to reason with the general. That's why he'll never leave here alive. The general and his soldiers transformed into a group of those aliens, preparing to annihilate them. Naruto felt his blood boiling as a sadistic grin appears on his face. Time for me to set things in motion. He said still grinning, flashing his Sharingan. End chapter. Chapter 2. Secret Origins Part 2. Previously on Dragon of Justice. Sorry, but this is the end of the road. A figure spoke in a deadly voice. I've grown tired that tongue of yours, this time I'll cut off your head. The creature declares hostile. That felt good, didn't it? Raishin asked, his voice filled with amusement. You better believe I did. The blonde replied with an evil grin and a smile on his face. I enjoyed every moment of it. Our orders are to keep that freak here. The general declared as his men aimed their weapons at them. But the world's security may be at stake. Superman tried to reason with the general. That's why he'll never leave here alive. The general and his soldiers transformed into a group of those aliens, preparing to annihilate them. Time for me to set things in motion. He said still grinning, flashing his Sharingan. It's them. The Green Man warned the 2 heroes. Naruto observes the trio closely, namely the inhuman Green Man. Wondering if he's the reason why Superman and Batman left Metropolis to come all the way out here. And if so, for what purpose? Another matter that the blonde was curious about wasn't all that important, it had to do with their outfits. What's with these heroes and wearing their underwear on the outside? Naruto thought. Aren't you one to talk? You used to wear that orange jumpsuit that screams kill me thanks to me, you now have proper clothing where you can be taken seriously. Raishin said, chuckling at the memory of his successor's poor fashion sense. Oh, shut up. The aliens started to fire at the heroes, but Superman got in the way, but the impact pushed him back in a tank. In the smoke Batman pulled the person behind a van. An alien managed to get behind Batman, but the blue person simply went through Batman and managed to channel some form of energy that deflected the laser. Batman in a quick reflex took out a batarang and threw it at the alien, knocking it out, while the alien that protected Batman seemed hurt. That's the same as Obito's Jiken idm, space-time migration. The blonde thought. Yes and no. Obito's version used time-space manipulation where the user can teleport to any location, including make it appear as though normal attacks are ineffective. His on the other hand uses particular source known as intangibility. The best way of attacking an enemy with that ability is with your Raiten and Ranten ninjutsu. Raishin told the blonde. Naruto was amazed by the former Dragon King's knowledge of a fighter's ability. How do you know all this? Naruto inquired. When you live for as long I have, you'll learn a lot of things. Raishin replied. I see. Guess he's on our side, time to have some fun. The blonde stated. The blonde saw some of aliens coming from their left flank, aiming their laser guns for their blind spot and moved quickly to break their formation. Ranten. Ria's Kasu, Storm Release. Laser Circus. Numerous energy beams shot out and hit the attacking aliens, destroying several of them while a few remained. Naruto appeared before them and signals for them to attack him, which they did. While that was happening Superman managed to pull himself up and was using a tank he lifted above his head to deflect the lasers that were coming his way until he threw it at some of the aliens and noticed a teenager with spiky blonde hair that was attacking the aliens with his strange hand signs abilities to reduce them into white goo, at the same time dodging their laser gun beams. Where did he come from? Superman thought. Another swarm was approaching the Man of Steel just as he about to fight back. The blonde teenager came to his aid as he appeared in front of him and incinerates them with a fire attack. Once they had been taken care of, Naruto turns his attention towards Superman. Hey there, looks like you could use a hand. Naruto smiled underneath his mask. Doesn't look like he's with them. The superhero concluded who saw that another troop coming towards the two. That man managed to get the green-skinned alien into his jet. He too notices the blonde-haired teen's arrival, curious as to who he is and whose side he fought for. The aliens fired repeatedly at Naruto and Superman, thankful they'd gotten protective cover, but that didn't stop them from advancing. Naruto took out a pair of flash bombs and threw them. The blinding light gave Naruto the opportunity to imprison them with Mokuton. There, that should hold them for the time being. Naruto said to the superhero. The blonde teen's words were indeed correct, the aliens used their laser guns too in an attempt to break free. Well, Superman approached the young man. Thanks for the help. Who are you anyway? Superman asked, intrigued at the young man. We'll have to talk later, right now we've got company. He responded, pointing at a dozen spaceships that were coming their way. Take my hand. We need to get out of here. Superman said. Naruto could have declined since he already had the ability to fly, but there was no time for arguments. Let's go. The blonde takes Superman's hand and lifts him up, following Batman out of the base, while the spaceships were in pursuit, making their escape difficult. They successfully managed to avoid some of their fire, but it was becoming harder and harder. And Naruto couldn't use any of his ninjutsu with only one hand. This isn't good, we'll never outrun him. I'm gonna have to ask you to put me down, we can at least try and disable their ships. Naruto said, avoiding a blast from one of the ships. Toss me over to that mountain over there. Are you sure? Superman inquired, not wanting the young man to plunge to his death. Positive. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing, trust me on this. Naruto reassured. Superman sighs, regretting what he's about to do. He swung Naruto with full force as was being hurled through midair. Naruto regained his posture and aerially flipped onto the mountaintop. The alien spaceships fired at Naruto the moment he landed. As the old saying goes, fight fire with fire, or in this case wind. Hope you like this, it's gonna be a blast ton. Kazaduk, wind release. Severe wind typhoon. Naruto yelled as he expels a large amount of wind nature chakra from his mouth and unleashes an enormous powerful whirlwind. The wind blast of this technique is so strong it sliced a few alien spaceships in half. Batman was maneuvering through the peaks of the mountains and managed to take some of them down through dangerous maneuvers in their pursuit, while Superman threw one of the bogies in a mountaintop. Finally, one of the ships hit the Batwing and it was going down in smoke and speed. Oh shit. Naruto said as he's about to fly and catch the falling ship, but was stunned when it suddenly stopped in the air and was radiating a greening glow. Following the stream that seemed to be connected to it, he followed the beam at a person who was standing on one of the mountain cliffs. Two ships attacked him, but the ships were quickly destroyed by another individual. This one was a woman with gray wings and a mace in her hands. This just keeps getting more interesting by the minute. Raishin thought. You can say that again. I should get to Batman, he's going to need my help. Naruto thought, a little relieved that they were safe and seemingly had new allies, but still had to be careful. At least they aren't shooting at us. Using his super speed, he reached Batman's position in seconds. Two ships closed in on them. Acting quickly, Naruto gathered as much lightning and water chakra as possible around him and screamed Ranton. Ryunkakusa, storm release. Thunder dragon missile. Generating electricity energy, which a dragon's head is formed in his hand and hurls it into one of the ships but wasn't destroyed. Instead, it crashed into the other one and explodes. Thanks. Batman said, impressed, yet manages to keep it hidden. Don't mention it, look out. The blonde-haired teen alerted Batman as a falling spaceship came crashing down. Naruto ran and got Batman out of harm's way. That's twice I've helped you, and if you feel the need to thank me, don't mention it. I didn't intend to. Batman replied coldly. Sure you weren't. Naruto smirked. From the cliff, Naruto and Batman watched the rest of the heroes take out the remaining ships. He was worried when he saw Hawkgirl falling and nearly hit by one of the ships when another woman with long black hair appeared and deflected the lasers, but neglected to fly out of the way of the falling ship's trajectory. Luckily, the green glowing person managed to create a dome around the women that protected them from the blast. Who's the rookie in the tiara and the punk rock kid? The glowing green man asked. He was dark-skinned male with short black hair shaved on the sides with a strong muscular built glowing green eyes. His clothing looked like a full bodysuit of green, black and white. The top of his suit was green emerald color in a V-form going from the back all the way the front, covering his neck, shoulders and upper half of his upper body in green, while the rest was black, with the exception of his boots that were also green and his gauntlets that were green as well. On his chest was a green lantern-like patch in a white circle. His weapon of choice was apparently a green ring that helped him channel a green energy field in any shape he desires. I'm not sure. Superman responded, throwing the last ship into the side of a mountain. Soon every hero grouped together with Batman and Naruto, including Flash that appeared with the missing wing of Batman's jet. Hey Bats, I think you dropped this. Whoa, where have you been all my life? Flash asked, dazzled by the black-haired woman's beauty as he handed the piece back to Batman. Naruto recognized him as the hero he saw on TV a few months ago. He was dressed in a red full bodysuit with a hood that covered the top of his head with white see-through material for eyes and two lightning-like ornaments on the sides where his ears should be. The suit was apparently very flexible. It was blood red with a diagram of a lightning going through a white circle with a yellow outline. A lightning pattern were on his arms just below the elbow. He wore what seemed to be a lightning-style belt around his lower abdomen and golden-like boots. Themyscira. She answered straightforward, completely unaware of the meaning behind those words. Huh? Flash responded, confused by what she'd said. The home of the Amazons, I always thought that it was merely a legend. His answer came from the second woman. She wore a bird-like mask, red hair that reached the middle of her back, light red lips, black eyes, two white grayish wings. She was dressed in a yellow top that seemed to hold on her impressive C-cup breasts to the waist. She wore a pair of black tight pants that covered her lower half and a pair of super short pants that covered her slender ass and lower midsection. Her feet were fit in a pair of red boots. In her hand she held the same mace with a leather strap that was around her hand to prevent it from falling. I assure you it's as real as the ground we stand on. I am Diana, Princess of the Amazons. She introduces herself with a smile and pride in her voice. Pinch me, I must be dreaming. Flash spoke with an amused expression. Superman, who stood beside him, elbows Flash gently, still he gave the speedster a small amount of pain. Ow. Diana continued with her explanation. Themyscira is protected by the gods, but I could not idly stand by while the rest of the world was in danger. Diana is a slender beautiful woman with visible muscles and a tall figure and held herself in a prideful posture. She had long black raven flowing hair that reached her middle back, baby blue eyes, she wore silver star earrings, a golden tiara with a red star on the forehead, she had red lips. A tight red half-shirt ornamental gold on the front in the form of 2W that covers her large DT cup breasts, a golden metal belt held her tight dark blue mini pants with white stars that covered her round backside, leaving her thighs exposed, a golden lasso around her waist. Red boots with a wide outline going down to the front and back covered her feet and legs up to just below her knees. Naruto's main attention had been placed on the two female heroes. When it comes to the opposite gender, he couldn't help but observe them for personal reasons. The first one with red hair had a well-toned shaped figure, not a trace of fat on her body. Even with a mask covering the upper part of her face, he could tell she looks attractive underneath. The angelic wings made her look quite erotic. Her tough exterior says I'll smash your head in, the mace she wields was proof of that, something that reminded the blonde of his former love interest Sakura Haruno. But this wasn't her, and she didn't seem like the type of person who'd make a big deal of the simplest thing, not to mention her bust may be the size as Sakura's, but hers are more perfectly shaped. Second, the Amazon princess known as Diana looks absolutely attractive. Not only did she have flawless skin, but she had the body most female could only dream of having, like she'd been blessed by the gods. If Uriah was here at this very moment, he'd love to research her on a daily basis. He had no idea who made that costume of hers, but whoever did was an excellent stylist. It wasn't lacking in the looks department, not in the slightest. If anything, her outfit made her look like a true warrior, a sexy true warrior. The way she saved Hawkgirl was proof she had the skills to hold her own and her potential. Diana's bust were very well formed that matched Hinata Hyuga, but also rivaled Mei and possibly Tsunade, yet she wasn't the least bit bothered by their exposure. Damn, are all female superheroes this sexy? If that's the case, then sign me up for heroism. Plus I'd like to visit Themyscira. If the princess over here is a babe, then I can only imagine that the other Amazons are the same. Naruto thought. Don't get your hopes up, men are forbidden from ever going to that place. Raishin told him. How do you know that? Naruto questions. Back when I first met Yami, she told me there were other worlds that existed. Themyscira was one of them. She even told me about the Amazons' culture. But I never knew which world the Amazons or Themyscira existed in. The former Dragon King answered. I see. Then perhaps you can me these question. Naruto inquired. And what's that? Is wearing underwear on the outside the symbolism of a hero for this world? Naruto thought in a thinking pose. You know what, you might be right about that. It's almost the same as every dragon in the dragon realm wearing scale chainmail clothing. Raishin replied. Think I should get myself a uniform like theirs? Something that'll suit perfectly with my persona. The blonde thought deeply but was cut off by an enraged Raishin. If you so much as even think about wearing something like that, I'll make you wish you'd never been resurrected. The dragon roared with mixed of emotions, starting from annoyed with a twitch in the eye, from imagining Naruto with shorts on the outside and dressed in bright orange tight jumpsuit. The thought alone repulsed him enough that his eyes narrow as he released a killing intent. Okay, I wasn't planning on wear anything involving me having to wear my underwear on the outside anyway. But you gotta admit having a costume would come in handy, it can be a symbol to those who wish to fight me. And that I'm a force to be reckoned with. The blonde teen responded with a confident smile. Raishin seems to have calmed down a bit but still had a scowl on his face. Very well then, but have Vita design your costume, she's the only dragon capable making an outfit based on one's heart's desire. Their silent conversation had come to an end. He notices everyone was gazing at him. Why are you all staring at me? Naruto asked with a questioning look, remembering the way the villagers in Konoha glared at him with hate in their eyes. However, none of their eyes bore no hatred towards him. We were waiting for you to introduce yourself, the rest of us know each other in some way, but you're new here. The alien answered looking at Naruto's attire. The same thought was going through everyone else's mind, who at this moment took a better look at the Dragon King. Naruto is tall, standing at 6'4", only an inch taller than Superman. He was well built with the body of a god. He wore a black mask with blue flame patterns that revealed his ocean blue eyes. He had golden long spiky hair that reaches down to the middle of his back. The red and silver armor with a high armored collar and shoulder guards in the center of his chest was a dragon's crest, black gauntlets, dark blue pants, 2 ninja pouches on both sides of his waist, and sliver boots with yellow rings at the top. What should I tell them, my real name? Naruto thought. No, keep your identity hidden. Tell them your name is Raikage. Raishin told him. Oh sorry, my name is Raikage or you can call me Ryu for short. He answered with extended hand. John's. Taking his offered hand and giving it a good shake. Superman, extending his hand. Superman, again thanks for your help back there. It's no big deal. The blonde responded with a slight smile. Name's Flash, fastest man alive. The speedster said. Really, just so you know I'm pretty quick on my feet as well. Don't be surprised if you're the second fastest man alive. Naruto replied with an amused smile. Flash wasn't unset by those words, he now had a smile on his face equal to Naruto's. Is that so? Guess you and I will have to race and find out who's fastest. Flash said confident. I'm looking forward it. Naruto replied, realizing he'd just gained himself a rival, but this was different than the one he had with Sasuke. Next up was the dark-skinned man with a strict and serious expression. Green Lantern, of the Lantern Corps, he said, giving Naruto a stare that said I'm not impressed. Hot girl, and you better keep your guard up out there, this isn't no place for hot shots. The first girl of the group spoke in a tone that said she wasn't going to waste time babysitting any kids. I can take care of myself just fine. Naruto replies calmly with a bit of hostility in his voice. I've already introduced myself, but I am Diana. The princess said with a smile. It's a pleasure to meet you, Diana. Responded the blonde, giving nod of the head and a smile. Is it true, you come from a nation of female fighters? Yes, does that surprise you? Diana asked the blonde. Naruto shook his head and replied. Not really, I once met a woman named Shizuka who's a princess and leader of her own village. Her nation is filled with female warriors as well. We fought each other in one-to-one combat, although I won our match her skills were outstanding. I can tell by looking at you that you've been trained well, it's an honor to meet you, Princess Diana of the Amazons. Naruto told her. The blonde extends his hand, which Diana accepted while smile. Likewise. Diana replied. Last but not least, the Caped Crusader finally spoke. That man. Mind telling us how you got on that military base? The Dark Knight asked, straight to the point. I suppose there's no harm in telling, since you seem eager to know. Naruto answered with smirk. But first you might want to get the wing to your jet fixed. Superman got to work on repairing the broken wing with his heat vision, while the others waited patiently for him to finish. After Superman was done, he like the others were interested to hear the young man's story. Naruto moves away from the other heroes and sits on top of a rock Indian style and begins his tale. It all started 6 months ago. I was in the forest when I saw Superman fly above me. Thinking that it was an emergency, I decided to follow him to the Metropolis substation facility that you and Batman were on. Neither of you notice I was there watching because I kept my presence hidden. From where I was hiding, I observed everything that had transpired. Batman was interested by this but didn't show it. Superman's eyes seemed to have widened remembering the events and never would have guessed someone had been there that night. Everyone else just listened to the rest of the story. After they destroyed the base, I wanted to know what their objective was and followed them into the forest. I confronted them, but they didn't answer any of my questions and we fought. Our fight went on for a while until one of them decided to stay behind while the others escaped. I fought him and tried to get any information I could from him, but he wouldn't talk. In fact, the only thing he told me was this planet days are numbered and that no one could stop them. I finished him off afterwards. Naruto told them, ceased from speaking for a moment and let it sink into the others. He was able to track them down and fought them all by himself. Superman thought, impressed by the young man's achievements. Batman had the same thoughts but was still had to be careful around the blonde. After all, this could be a ploy to get the so they lowered their guard and ambushed them. Since my first encounter with them, I had a feeling they were up to something big, but I didn't know what, but I intended to find out. For the passing 6 months I searched for the remaining two, only to reach a dead end at every turn. Throughout my search I came across criminals threatening the innocent, and I wasn't ready to reveal myself, so I took them down in secretly. Tonight, just as I was about to head home I saw Batman and decided to follow you to Star Lab and saw you were having trouble with that alien dog. After you knocked out, I came in and eliminated the damn thing. The watch Superman gave you was in your hand and I activated it, then I'd fled. So all those mysterious crime busts I've been hearing about, they were your doing? Superman questions, receiving a nod from Naruto. Why did you run away after helping Batman? Diana asked the blonde teenager. Like I said, I wasn't ready to reveal myself to anyone. And Batman, before you get any ideas, no, I never peeked the entire time you were out. The thought hadn't crossed my mind, so relax, your secret identity is safe. Naruto said truthfully. I see, continue. Batman said with a slight amount of gratitude and relief. Then that meteor hit Metropolis and I went to check it out. While you and Superman were fighting it, I made sure no one got caught in the crossfire. All of a sudden Superman had a blank expression and flew away. Batman left soon after the military arrived. I would have followed you both, but I couldn't leave those civilians unprotected. Reaching into his pouch and presents his Hiraishin kunai. I throw this at your jet, it's how I was able to find you. Batman looked at the kunai and didn't see anything interesting about it. A tracking device. Sort of, this allows me to teleport myself to the location it happens to be. Naruto told Batman. Everyone had widened eyes when they heard power to teleport without devices was rare. Teleportation, with that thing. How does it work? Green Lantern asked, voicing their thoughts. That's a secret. Besides, I'm not in the mood to discuss that now. Naruto said in a personal tone as Green Lantern showed his displeasure with a frown. Anyway, after you and Superman left I gathered the civilians and placed them in a safe house. When I arrived on that military base, I saw you three were having trouble with those aliens. And I decided to get involved. As for the rest you know from there. Finishing his story and looking at the others. The heroes didn't know how to respond to his story until Flash broke the ice. How old are you, Ryukage? The masked hero asked. Why are asking me something like that? Naruto responded, raising an eyebrow. Well, for starts you don't look any older than the rest of us, I'm guessing you're either 15 or 16. Flash confirms. Close, but no. I'm actually 17. Naruto answers with a smirk underneath his mask. 17. You've really been taking your vitamins, I mean you're a giant and all bulked up. Flash commented. It's all thanks to my teacher. Naruto stated. Your teacher? Superman questions. Yes, he put me through some tough training sections. But everything I learned from him was worth it, hell he even taught me his favorite fighting style, trust me even a fighter with superior speed would find it difficult to counter. The blonde explained. That sound cool, care to show us demonstration? Flash asked the teen. Then Hawkgirls intervenes. This isn't the time for show and tell. We have a critical situation here. She spoke with authority. Naruto nodded in agreement. She's right, still we don't know why they're here or what they want. Allow me to explain. John spoke, now having everyone's attention on the green-skinned alien. John began to fill them in on what happened on Mars 1,000 years ago. His people had a bright and glorious civilization, and at the height of their prosperity and peace. The invaders shattered that as they came and soon the Martians were in war. They loathed the thought of taking any lives, but did what they had to protect their people. But the battles cost them dearly as the invaders fed on their psychic energies, and when they grew weaker, the enemy grew stronger and even took their ability of shape-shifting. He and his fellow survivors launched a final desperate assault to use a special nerve gas that they had developed, and soon they attacked the stronghold. It was a successful operation, but the price was fatal, as this left John as the last Martian left alive. He made it his mission to contain them in their citadel in stasis, but after 500 years, the Mars mission undertaken by the astronauts freed the invaders, and with his people gone, the aliens targeted Earth next. The blonde was sad to hear that John was the only Martian left. He promised himself that he would make those alien invaders pay for what they did to his world and its inhabitants. As soon as John was done speaking about the events that doomed his people and what he had done after the invaders had been placed in suspended animation until now, Flash was the first to speak, as he could not help but feel that something was amiss. Wait, those astronauts never said anything about finding life on Mars. John snorted and replied. Some pencil pusher in Washington probably decided it should be classified information. Naruto however shook his head and replied. No, I don't think so. That man turned and spoke to Naruto. What exactly do you mean by that, Ryukage? Naruto looked at the other heroes and replied, he had been working with Hiraishin to put the pieces together, back to the events of that night and what's happening now. From what John said about the aliens, it all became clear to him. Think about it, the astronauts on Mars discovered the biggest threat the world had ever seen. And they did not bother to report it when they had a chance. No, I think the reason no one knew about it is that when they awakened, the aliens had already made their move. An army of invaders intent on conquering a world would never reveal themselves accidentally to anyone until they had the right moment. John, you said the invaders stole your people's ability to shapeshift after they invaded Mars, right? John nodded. Then they would have the ability to shapeshift now to any form they want, and from what me and Batman saw what was done to those 3 human scientists trapped in those cocoons. Then it's safe to assume that's what happened to the group on Mars. Their infiltration team came here and started doing whatever they could to weaken Earth's defenses. Those stations owned by Wayne Tech were the first to avoid early detection and then. Superman paled as he quickly understood. The nukes, the same ones I decommissioned on Senator Carter's requests. Naruto nodded. Exactly, Senator Carter never came back to Earth at all, no doubt he's either being held in a pod like the 3 scientists or already dead. The one we all saw on TV is no doubt head of the aliens infiltration team. Clever if you think about, assume the identity of a national hero, advocate the wishes of the masses to disarm nuclear weapons to strip away any means of defense, and leave Earth open to attack by the rest of the forward force. I've seen tactics like that before. My village was victim to such an attack by a rival force, so this is to be expected. They rendered Earth deaf, dumb, and blind first, and now they destroyed the nukes, so the military won't have anything to give them a fighting chance. Green Lantern growled, and his eyes glowed in anger at the fact that Earth was now rendered helpless for invasion. Like hell they are. If they think that we're going to stand by and let them take this world, they got another thing coming. The implications of the alien attack hit them hard, and the one hit hardest was Superman as he realized that he had rendered Earth defenseless. The Man of Steel was silent as he contemplated what he had unwittingly done, and he felt so foolish and used, a situation Naruto was quick to see, and he spoke to Superman. Don't let it get to you, Superman. If anything, you can this misfortune as motivation to stop them, remember it's not over yet. Naruto encouraged the Man of Steel. Superman nodded at that as he knew that there would be plenty of time to deal with the invader who took Senator Carter's form. A sudden rumble of thunder drew the heroes' attention as they saw black clouds rising from Metropolis. Bolts of lightning flashing from the clouds and high into the sky. What was that? Diana asked, looking at the rising clouds. It's begun. John answered, clearly knowing what was happening. What are they doing? Hawkgirl asked. The invaders are nocturnal. They want to blot out the sun to live in perpetual darkness. John answered with no emotion in his voice. Friends of yours? Flash joked, looking at Batman and Naruto. Hardly, we barely know each other. Batman monotone followed Naruto with a smile. What's the big problem? Can't you just whip up another batch of that nerve gas? Asked Flash hopefully. John was quick to turn that plan down the proverbial drain as he shook his head. Unfortunately no, the gas can only be made from a rare Martian plant. I brought a sample with me, but it was destroyed when I was captured. The Martian answered with the same monotone voice. It wouldn't have done us any good. The Dragon King thought out loud, catching everyone's attention. The gas could have dissipated in the atmosphere, and we don't know what effects it could have had on humans or the environment. Flash couldn't help but feel a bit defeated by that and replied lamely. So, what exactly is Plan B? Diana was quick to come up with a solution. Then we'll have to take out those factories. The Amazon princess spoke in a conclusive tone with her hand of her hips. Naruto nodded in agreement with Diana's plan of action. And I agree with Diana, taking those factories out will have an effect on the invasion of these alien beings and cripple them. Diana looked at the masked young man with a great measure of surprise. Instead of telling her to not speak because she was woman, he approved of her plan. That was not what her tutors had said about men, as they described men cruel and sinister. They viewed women as inferior being, and that was something Diana had learned to dislike during her sessions with them. It hardly helped matters that her mother also had ill views of men for different reasons. The Amazon princess didn't know how, but she could tell there's more to Ryukage than meets the eye, something admirable. Green Lantern glared at both Diana and Naruto and replied. Lady, this is no job for amateurs or wannabe kids who know next to nothing about combat. Green Lantern said brusquely. It's not that he had anything against the Amazon princess, it is just that people's lives were at jeopardy, and the raven-haired woman had no experience when it came to being a hero. The fact that he had to save her and Hawkgirl from the alien ship that she took down was proof of that. And there's Naruto, a boy who idolized heroes like so many other kids, puts on a costume and immediately declare himself a hero. Thinking it's all a big game, never realizing his own life is at stake and one careless mistake can result in death. That statement didn't sit well with Diana as she glared at Green Lantern. The idea of him calling her an amateur, despite the fact she was born and raised as a warrior, galled her, and she was about to respond to that. But Naruto beat her to it as the blonde was less than pleased, even more than she was. Naruto glared angrily at Green Lantern, feeling insulted by the dark-skinned man. Being called a kid was one thing, something he can easily ignore. But being called a wannabe is the same as a slap in the face. Back in his younger days he'd been ridiculed by his classmates and laughed at his dream of becoming Hokage. Still he kept pushing forward, never giving up despite the difficult odds he faced down the road, all the way to the Fourth Great Ninja War. His disrespect towards the young Dragon King reflected upon the other dragons in the Dragon Realm and towards Raishin. He had held the former Dragon King in high regard. During his year-long training he saw Raishin more than just his teacher and predecessor. There was no need to dismiss Diana either, saying she had no place to help humanity when it needed all the heroes it could get. Naruto released a killing intent directly at the Green Lantern, one so strong a black aura surrounded him. His dragon's blood was boiling again, not from excitement, but from uncontrollable rage, like he was about to break something or someone. That aura got the attention of every hero in an instant, all wondering what's going on. "What did you just call me, you arrogant son of a bitch?" Naruto whispered with venom in his voice. Superman and Batman were surprised as Raikage's entire demeanor became cold and vicious in such a way that seemed impossible for someone so young. John himself felt chills throughout his body, never before had he felt such emotions from anyone. Flash is taken back by this turn of event. Diana was also stunned by the blonde warrior's sudden attitude change, like he was a completely different person. Hawkgirl looked at Naruto while slightly tightening her grip on her mace, preparing her what was about to occur. "That aura feels cold and dangerous. I've never felt anything like that before," John thought. Naruto disappears and reappears before the Green Lantern, surprising the heroes even more. Then punched the lantern, sending him flying into a mountain wall, falling to the ground. Naruto wasn't finished with the Green Lantern just yet as dashed towards him and stomps his foot down on Green Lantern's head. The dark-skinned man is then lifted into the air by the back of his collar and gives a hard punch in the stomach, so hard he coughs up blood. Naruto roughly drops him, watching him exhale, showing no sympathy for what he'd done. Green Lantern glares at the blonde teen as he got to his feet. Naruto kicks him back down. Once again Naruto lifts Green Lantern up, looking directly into his eyes. This wasn't some teenager he was dealing with, this is the king of all dragons who is pissed off. "Listen and listen good, you stuck-up little prick. Just because I happen to be a teenager doesn't mean I don't know a thing about combat. I'll have you know I fought against criminals and terrorists since I was 12, each one of them was a deadly foe, and I survived those confrontations. One of the things I learned from my teacher is that a fighter's age doesn't matter. What really matters is his or her fighting spirit. It's because of him I'm the person I am today. Insulting me is the same as insulting my teacher, and that's something I'll never accept. The lady who you happen to have insulted as well happens to have the ability of flight, excellent reflexes, a great measure of battle training and skill, and more." He then points to Diana, who was surprised by this, and she listened intently to what the blonde teen had to say. She may not know anything about him, but for reasons unknown she knew she could put her trust in him. "From what I've seen, she is more than ready to help fight these bastards from space, and I'm honored to fight by her side. You have no right to stating she doesn't, besides without that ring you're powerless, so go acting all high and mighty. Rather you approve of our help or not, we're going to see this through to the end. And another thing, if you ever insult me, Diana, especially my teacher ever again, I will personally put you in a wheelchair permanently." Naruto turns and quickly lashed out with his free hand that was cloaked with wind chakra. The results were there was a large number of boulders and trees that were at least 50 feet away from the group, suddenly shredded and sent flying into the air and reduced to wood and stones. That left a very clean landscape that showed a clean cut through the entire area. Naruto turns to the Green Lantern and replied with a tone of finality. "You have no idea of what I can really do. If you want to test me and found out, go right ahead. But I promise you that I will give you a beating you'll never forget. But right now this isn't the time, the entire planet is resting on our shoulders." With that, Naruto's killing intent aura faded as he hauls Green Lantern into a nearby tree. He went back to the rock which he leaned up against with his arms crossed, seemingly relaxed now. But it was obvious that his display had unnerved some of the heroes. Nevertheless, Diana was amazed at the way Raikage stuck up for her, not because she's a weak woman that needed protecting. It was the exact opposite, he acknowledged her as a warrior. Back on Themyscira, the only praises she's get were from her sisters and mother. Diana was curious about Raikage's powers, namely that wind attack he had released and its devastating force. To do such a thing must required a great deal of training. Seeing Raikage's power briefly made her question what else the blonde teen is capable of. Especially after mentioning he had been taught by someone. She wanted to ask Raikage if he'd introduce her to his teacher, but that could wait for another time, as they had more serious matters to deal with. That man was now more than convinced that there was more to Raikage than he had first thought. The sudden shift of the blonde's demeanor and personality was enough to show him that he was not someone to take lightly. The power Naruto showed earlier meant that he had a lot more skill and power than he had let on. Still, he didn't trust the blonde and needed to keep an eye on him. Superman was surprised somewhat as he had never seen anyone act like that before, along with hearing him speak in such a manner. That was a tone that made even him quiver, and that aura he unleashed. It wasn't magic in any sense of the word, he should know, having dealt with the demon Karkal and Mr. Mxyzptlk. Flash's eyes widened and grinned slightly at the dressing down Green Lantern had gotten, although he was a bit shocked at the way the blonde teen changed his nature entirely. That told him that this kid was a lot more than he seemed, and he's not to be underestimated. Truth be told, he was alright with having Raikage join them in this fight, it'd be like having a little brother, only taller. Hawkgirl had to admit to herself that she was a bit worried about the way the blonde had changed when Green Lantern insulted him. That kind of attitude change and the aura he gave out told her that despite his young age, this boy was no simple-minded teen doing this for glory. That aura was the kind only elite warriors had developed only after years of field experience and hardship. How someone like him possesses such power made her all the more curious of who he is. Green Lantern stood up, wipes the blood from his lips and glared at Naruto as he began to move forward until Superman stepped in. Now is not the time for this, John, Raikage is right, we have to work together here to deal with this threat. Green Lantern sighed a bit as he knew that Superman had a point. If they did not stop the invaders from taking over the planet, then it was all over. That did not mean he was going to easily forget what had just happened between him and the blonde. Though the focus of his anger was on Raikage, as he never expected to be sucker punched by a kid. That humiliation wasn't going to be forgotten anytime soon. Naruto knew that look but didn't care. Now was not the time for glaring, now was the time for action. It did not take long for the heroes to decide that they would be better off working in separate teams to take out their targets. There was one target in the South Pacific, namely in Malaysia, another in Egypt, and the last one is in Metropolis. Once that was over, they now had to decide on the individual team setup, and Flash, ever the flirt, decided to make his choice known as he moved to Diana and placed his hand on the princess's shoulder. Dibs on the Amazon. The speedster's cheerful personality returned with a vengeance. Diana drew a befuddled expression as she felt slightly uncomfortable with Flash's flirtatious attitude. Naruto felt amused at the scene, but decided to help Diana out, noticing how uncomfortable she looked being in such close proximity with the speedster. Some words of advice, Flash. I'd keep my hands to myself if I were you. The last time I met a woman whose strength was inhuman. She had a very nasty temper and nearly beat a man to death for flirting with her too much. Said man managed to walk away alive, but a couple of souvenirs for his trouble. 2 broken arms, 6 ruptured ribs, as well as several ruptured internal organs. Naruto nearly laughed out loud when he saw the expression on Flash's face. The speedster's eyes widened to comical proportions, and his face turned a shade paler. He gave a nervous look at Diana, gulped, and then slowly edged away from her. Diana felt relief and she sent an appreciative look at Naruto, who nodded in response. The gathered group of heroes briefly discussed which teams they would pair up with. Out of the entire group here, Superman was the most familiar with Metropolis, given that was his city, and joining him was Hawkgirl. Green Lantern paired up with Flash to keep him out of trouble and in line. Flash silently sulked being paired with Green Lantern and not the hot Amazon, despite knowing that she could use her super strength to break his body. The last team had Raikage, John, Batman, and Diana paired up. John had the most experience when it came to fighting the invaders, his familiarity with how they operated will be the key to their success. En route to Egypt. John flew ahead of the team with his telepathy. He could alert the others should something unexpectedly happen, such as an ambush. Right behind him are Diana and Raikage, both flying next to each other, while Batman wasn't too far behind in his jet. Well, they may be working together, still there were so many questions regarding Raikage. In John's case, he was curious on how Raikage's performance would affect the outcome of the task at hand. The blonde teen was indeed a skilled warrior, and the powers he'd display in the earlier fight battle were surprising, yet unknown. There were so many secrets about him that it was easy to tell, but he wasn't the type to go around asking questions. For now, stopping the invaders is top priority. As for Diana, she wanted to talk to Raikage about some things, but now wasn't the right time. Still, that didn't mean she could tell what she's been meaning to say since the incident with Green Lantern. Raikage? Diana called, getting the blonde's attention. Yes, what is it? Naruto responses politely. I just wanted to say thank you for what you did for me back there, handling the lantern. She added the last words with anger. It irritates me a lot that he'd say such things. I trained my hardest as well as the other Amazons. Just because I've never been in battle doesn't mean I'm anything but an amateur. No problem, Haim. He stated calmly. I meant every word I told Green Lantern. You're special in more ways than one. You have the right to be here, as well as any other great female warrior. The Amazon princess smiled, but then gets a doubtful expression at the word he'd called her as. Haim. What's that supposed to mean? In my native language, it means princess. Here it's called Japanese. I take it your teacher is the one who taught you speak English as well. He did. Naruto lied. The way you speak of your teacher shows how much you admire him. It's a lot more than that, he's like a second father to me. Naruto stated. I'm not surprised you think of me in that matter. Then again you've never known a dragon of my caliber. Raishin told him. So true. Be prepared hatchling, once you enter the alien invaders' territory there may be no turning back. Gotcha, Raishin sensei. En route to Malaysia with Flash and Green Lantern. The speedster was still bummed out, having to work with Green Lantern. He had hoped to be beside the Amazon beauty or Hawkgirl at least. But now here he was with a man who he felt was a real stick in the mud. You're no fun. Flash said as he ran across the ocean with Green Lantern flying overhead. Green Lantern glared down at the speedster and spoke in a serious tone. This isn't supposed to be fun. We've got a job to do and we'll do it a lot better without any distractions. Is that understood? Yeah, I hear you. Flash replied, not hiding his disappointment. Both heroes continued to move until reaching Malaysia. The jungle area where their target was located. A large portion of the jungle had been cleared away for the giant factory machine that continued to pump smoke into the air. Surrounding the structure was a small collection of walkers who stood as guards. Green Lantern and Flash observed them for 10 minutes. Green Lantern turns to his partner. That's our target. Now listen up, here's the plan. Before he could finish, Flash however interrupts him. The speedster's voice sounded impatient and cocky. What plan? We kick their butts, right? Let's get this over with. Lantern made a move to stop Flash, but before he could even get a word in, Flash had already taken off. The Lantern sighs with irritation, now regretting getting tagged with the impatient speedster. Flash stopped right before one of the walkers, bringing his hands to his mouth and pursing his lips into a sharp whistle. The whistle served its purpose, grabbing the attention of the walkers. Hey, over here. Flash waved his hands in the air. As soon as the walker spotted him, its eye compressed and shot out a beam of crimson energy. The beam passed harmlessly by Flash, who easily dodged it by stepping to the side. Flash crossed his arms, taunting the walker. Ha! Missed me. More walkers joined in and began to fire a barrage of energy beams at the speedster. Using his impressive speed, Flash easily began dodging all of their attacks. He ran right through all of the walkers' long legs without any trouble. In his inattentiveness, Flash foolishly forgot to watch where he was going, not noticing a decent-sized stump on the ground. As soon as he stepped on the stump, it exploded in a shower of gunk that sent the hero tumbling into the air. Flash shouted helplessly as he came crashing down into a giant pool of what appeared to be a sickly green-colored sludge. Flash struggled to get out of the disgusting waste, but the gunk was constricting his movements, making him immobile. Fool, that's what happens when you go in half-cocked. Green Lantern said through grit teeth. The shadow of a walker appeared over Flash's fixed position, intent on disintegrating the speedster. Luckily for him, Green Lantern had moved in to save him from being obliterated. Hang tight, hotshot. Green Lantern flew overhead, thrusting his ring hand and shooting out a blast of green energy. The energy was strong enough to pierce straight through the walker's leg, severing the limb from its synthetic body. Without a proper support to stand on, the walker teetered unsteadily back and forth before crashing harshly into the ground, effectively taking it out for good. Seeing that he had successfully taken out the walker, Green Lantern moved to help Flash. Nice going, GL. Now, can you give me a hand? I'm really stuck here. Flash said sheepishly. I hope the others are having better luck than we are. Green Lantern stated as he and Flash were off to a lousy start. In Egypt with Diana, Ryukage, John, and Batman. Naruto is currently with Batman and Diana, hiding from the patrolling machines that the enemy had unleashed much earlier to secure the site. Only difference was that the machine seemed to be limiting its movements. No doubt it was trying to stay close to the alien factory to keep it from being harmed. Diana was not very happy with all the hiding, which was something Naruto could understand. Back when he was a genin of Konoha, hiding was not exactly one of his favorite moves, but thanks to Raishin, he learned to be patient before acting rashly. Hiding like cowards isn't the Amazon way. Diana said, placing her hands her hips, expressing her dissatisfaction. Batman was leaning against a stone following the aliens' activities. They must have a weakness. When we find it, we'll strike. Naruto added in his 2 cents. He's right, Haim. This may not be what you're used to, but it's necessary if we're gonna get the drop on them. John suddenly appeared from the ground and reported. I have scouted the outer walls, there are no openings. Then we'll make our own. Diana suddenly flew, unable to hold back her urge to fight. Before the Martian could stop her, Naruto held out his arm, preventing him from interfering. Hold on, John. As I said before, she's more than ready for this battle, besides I get the feeling we only saw half of what she can do in that last fight. Now I'm interested to see what else she's capable of. Diana flew at one of the alien walkers, gracefully dodging around the energy beams at her as she drew her golden lasso. Managing to get her lasso around one of the walker's legs, Diana quickly flew around it before landing on one of its 3 legs. There were 2 other walkers that had noticed what the Amazon princess was doing and tried to stop her, but even with one hand, Diana managed to deflect the energy blast back at them and destroy them. Focusing her attention back on the walker that she was standing on, the Amazon started to pull as she spoke the words. "Era, give me strength." Diana prayed. For a few seconds, Diana's strength went up against the walkers before Diana proved to be the stronger of the 2. The walker's legs drew closed as it lost its balance. Diana was able to direct it expertly, causing it to fall towards the factory and creating a hole in its wall. The raven-haired princess looked proudly at her work before turning her gaze to her fellow heroes. "There's your opening." The Amazon princess told them confidently as she stood over the fallen alien walker before flying in. Naruto responded with a whistle of impression, while John was a little shocked. "Not bad." Batman commented, impressed by the Amazon's performance. All 3 men proceeded to go for the opening. John and Naruto flew in, while Batman using his grappling hawk. They dropped down through the hole to find Diana deflecting enemy laser blasts with her bracelets. Upon their arrival in her support, the invaders turned to run, careful to avoid the patches of sunlight shining through the holes created by Diana's entrance. Naruto raised an eyebrow at this, wondering why they had retreated. He looked around for what may have frightened them off, but only saw daylight and debris. "They're unlike cowards, what are you waiting for?" Diana demanded, chasing after the white aliens. The Martian quickly followed Diana's lead, while Batman and Naruto stopped and looked up into the sky before advancing forward. But Superman and Hawkgirl in Metropolis. Hawkgirl and Superman had some level of good luck as they were finally able to take down some of the walkers with the use of her mace to make sure that the walker could not get up. Superman then used a karate-style chop to cut one of the legs and used it as an impromptu javelin to make a hole in the factory, and he turned to call to Hawkgirl. "Hawkgirl, follow me." Superman walked cautiously through the oddly shaped corridor inside of the alien factory, with Hawkgirl not far behind him. Infiltrating the factory had been surprisingly easy as there had only been a few walkers stationed to guard the factory's exterior. "Keep a sharp eye out," Superman advised his winged companion. "I always do," she replied as she tightened her grip on her mace, holding it close to herself in case of a surprise attack. They did not need to wait long as a group of the parasitic aliens fired upon the 2 heroes. "Stay back, Superman prepared himself to take the group down, but he was beaten to the punch, literally. Before he could even finish his sentence, Hawkgirl screamed out a war cry as she charged at the group of aliens. Swinging her powered mace, she managed to hit 3 at once, sending them tumbling into the rest of the group. Using this opening, Hawkgirl went in for the kill. A wide-eyed Superman watched in slight bewilderment as Hawkgirl mercilessly bashed away at the aliens. He almost felt sorry for them, keyword almost. One of them was hit so hard that its body splattered into a white liquid smear on the nearby corridor's wall. Superman nearly flinched at the brutality of it all and mouthed out the only word he could think of at the moment. "Whoa." Hawkgirl gave Superman a slightly amused look as she walked past him, leaving behind a broken group of aliens. "What? There's a time for words and a time for action." Superman just shook his head and followed the winged redhead. Back in Malaysia. John flared his ring at Flash's feet, torching the substance that currently glued him into the ground, all the while commenting on the speedster's reckless actions. "Of all the idiotic, boneheaded, glory-grabbing moves. Haven't you ever heard of teamwork?" Green Lantern lectured as he finished releasing Flash from his self-imprisonment. An energy beam struck the ground a few feet away from their position, interrupting any further lectures from the lantern. Maybe we better save the motivational speeches for another time." Flash spoke nervously, not wanting to get hit by an energy blast. Satisfied with his work, Lantern turned his attention on the incoming walkers. Flash shook his legs from the remaining substance that stuck to his foot just in time to dodge a beam that would have hit him. Surrounding himself in a barrier, Green deflected a collection of energy beams. The Lantern was taken by surprise when one of the walkers fired off a jagged-looking rock that exploded against his shield, releasing a cloud of gas. Not expecting the surprise attack, Green Lantern inhaled too much of the gas, making him collapse to the ground. Acting quickly, Flash spun his arms out, moving them in a circular motion which blew out a strong gust of wind to clear away the gas. Once the speedster saw Green Lantern's unconscious form, he called out to him in concern, but the lantern didn't even stir. Seeing the quickly descending walkers, Flash took this moment to sling the lantern over his shoulder and make a break for it into the jungle where they could escape. Better to live another day and fight again than to die there on the spot. But Superman and Hawkgirl. Both heroes flew through the maze-like hallways of the factory to speed up their progress through the factory. They touched down on the ground. Superman noticed that his partner looked very anxious. "They're close, I can smell them." Hawkgirl spoke with the eyes of a predator, hunting for its prey. The Man of Steel decided to comment on her odd behavior. "Are you always so eager to fight? My home planet Thanagar is a warlike world. There, one must strike first or die." The moment she finished her sentence, a stray beam of energy zoomed past both heroes' heads. Hawkgirl spotted a small group of aliens who began to run off, with Hawkgirl in hot pursuit. The aliens lead the heroes into a room where a door shut behind them. They turned around towards the way they came in, only to find it closed off as well. Trapping them inside the room, it was then that both heroes noticed some punctured holes off to the side and could assume what would happen next. Gas began to stream through the holes into the room, enveloping around the heroes. Having no clean air to breathe, Hawkgirl keeled down to her knees, coughing harshly. Her grip on her mace loosened as her hands covered her mouth in an attempt to keep herself from inhaling any further gas. Seeing their predicament, Superman turned towards a wall, having the intent to break it down and free them from their trapped enclosure. "Hang on, Hawkgirl," Lairg. As soon as the Man of Steel's hands came into contact with the wall, he received a painful dose of high voltage for his trouble. Superman's vision faded as he collapsed into unconsciousness, with Hawkgirl soon following him. But Batman, John, Ryukage, and Diana. The team of 4 found themselves blocked off by another group of aliens. Diana was deflecting more laser blasts with her bracelets. "They keep blocking us off again. It's almost as if they know what we're thinking," Batman proclaims as he threw an explosive batarang at the enemy to momentarily provide them some cover. "Any ideas, John?" John didn't respond to Batman's question. He appears to be staring blankly ahead as his eyes were glowing yellow. "John?" the Dark Knight asked as he and the other 2 looked at the last Martian. Eventually, John came out of his trance. "Superman and Hawkgirl are down," he informed them as his eyes returned to their orange color. "They have failed." "What? Are you sure?" Diana asked worriedly. Her response was a silent nod. "I can sense it." "Are they alright?" the Dragon King asked. "Yes, they're still alive, but they have been captured," John told them grimly. "This way, hurry," he urged them, leading them down a hallway just as the room they were in began to be sealed off. Running deeper into the factory, a door opened behind them, revealing more aliens, who started to fire on them. Falling behind, Naruto stopped for a second to create 6 clones to act as distractions and engage the enemy before he ran to catch up with the others, arriving in time to see them enter a hole on an upper level. Flying in, Naruto met up with the 3 heroes. "I've bought us some time," Naruto told them. "Although, it won't be long until they catch up. Then we better be ready for them," Batman said, pulling out electric knuckle from his utility belt and putting them on. "Look," John said, drawing the others' attention. "It's the central core." The team of 4 had entered a large room with many of the invaders working diligently. If it wasn't for the fact that he knew how to do the same thing, Naruto would have been surprised when he saw some of them working upside down or on the wall, acting as if they weren't standing on the wall or roof. At the center of the room there was a single platform that held a rock-like object that floated in some sort of orange-colored energy. "How can we shut it down?" Batman asked John. "The ion matrix crystal," John answered, pointing at the rock-like object. "If we can remove that, we'll shut down the whole plant. I'll need a diversion," he stated. "Leave it to me," Naruto said confidently, forming a familiar cross-shaped hand seals. "Diversions are one of my specialties, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu." In a cloud of smoke before the other heroes appeared a number of clones, which of course surprised them. Naruto had them fight the alien invaders. Naruto didn't intend to let his clones have all the fun. He joins them, tearing through one invader after other with either his Rasengan or Taijutsu. At the same time, Batman threw one of his batarangs that sliced through a pipe and causing black sludge to fall on 2 of the invaders. Diana wasn't idle as she pulled at another part of the organic-looking factory, causing it to detach as smoke started to fill the room. But the aliens otherwise occupied. John phased through the floor and made his way to the ion core. The last Martian had just pulled the core out of the energy field that it was contained in when he was shot from behind by some of the enemy reinforcements. Dropping the ion core, John fell to the ground, barely being able to stay conscious. "John?" Diana shouted in concern, tossing 2 invaders off almost effortlessly before flying through another one. Sadly, the white aliens' abilities made it so that they could reform their bodies from such injuries. "Let him out, now," Batman ordered once the Amazon princess landed next to John, tossing an alien that jumped on his back at 2 of its comrades. Beside him, the original Naruto smashed a Rasengan into the chest of one alien before spinning around and landing a chakra-enhanced kick on another. Doing as instructed, Diana easily lifted the large Martian thanks to her super strength. Behind her, two aliens fell from above with their weapons ready to stop her, only for them themselves to be assaulted by a pair of Naruto's clones, giving the princess enough time to fly towards the exit just as it started to close unopposed. Seeing their only way out being sealed up, Batman rushed towards the exit, Batman with the use of his grappling hook, while Naruto flew towards the exit, but not before the Dark Knight picked up the ion matrix. The door quickly sealed itself after Diana escaped, trapping Batman and Naruto in. Reaching the closed entrance, Naruto and Batman turned around, facing the enclosing invaders, each of them holding a laser gun in their hands preparing to fire. The only words that came into Naruto's mind. Take your best shots. But Diana and John, the Amazon, rushed towards the door prepared to punch it open once she realized the two members of her team hadn't made it through. Batman. Ryukage. Sadly, before she could do anything, the sound of laser fire blasting against the door, along with indentations on the organic wall, caused her to stop. No. She moved to rip the door apart but was held back by John. Wait. There's nothing more we can do for them. You mean there? Thon, the alien answered, completing her sentence with his head down. Diana turns saddened at the door, mourning her two fallen comrades. Hera, help us. The Amazon princess prayed. End chapter. Chapter 3. Secret Origins Part 3. Previously on Dragon of Justice. My name is Ryukage, or you can call me Ryu for short. It's begun, answered John, clearly knowing what was happening. What are they doing? Asked Hawkgirl. The invaders are nocturnal. They want to blot out the sun to live in perpetual darkness, John answered in a monotone voice, knowing well what was happening. Then we'll have to take out those factories, the Amazon princess spoke in a conclusive tone with her hand of her hips. And I agree with Diana, taking those factories out will have an effect on the invasion of these alien beings and cripple them. Lady, this is no job for amateurs or wannabe kids who know next to nothing about combat. Green Lantern said brusquely. What did you just call me, you arrogant son of a bitch? Naruto whispered with venom in his voice. Reaching the closed entrance, Naruto and Batman turned around facing the enclosing invaders, each of them holding a laser gun in their hands preparing to fire. The only words that came into Naruto's mind, take your best shots. Batman. Ryukage. Diana screamed, trying to reach the heroes, but all she heard were weapons being fired and imprints on the organic door being formed. Nuo. She wanted to rip the door apart but was stopped by John. Wait. There's nothing more we can do for them. You mean there? Thon answered the alien, completing her sentence with his head down in saddened tone. And now? The invaders had Batman and Naruto cornered as they were about to execute the two heroes. Naruto grabs Batman's arm and flew over the invaders' heads just as they started shooting at them. Batman threw a few batarangs, knocking a few of their weapons from their hands, while some still had theirs. Naruto flew through another corridor. As they landed, they spotted the invaders coming their way. We got to get out of here. Batman told the teen still holding the ion matrix crystal. You don't have to tell me twice. The problem is these guys won't let us get away easily. We'll need to keep them occupied, and I know exactly how. Kaiten. Goka, Mekkyaku fire, release. Great fire annihilation. Naruto exhales and unleashes a massive ball of fire came from his mouth. Despite wearing a mask, the fireball incarcerated the invaders. Naruto and Batman fled. No matter what happens, don't stop for anything, we're not out of the woods just yet. They ran through another corridor with invaders armed blocking their path. Naruto wasted no time in attacking first. He grabbed one by its arm, then swags the alien into the others. As they fell down, the two heroes continued onward, while the invaders pulled themselves back to their feet trying to shoot them dead. Naruto throws 6 smoke bombs that not only covered their escape, but stopped the invaders from shooting, since they were unable to see anything. Both heroes kept moving, they were fortunate enough not to encounter any invaders along the way. Upon reaching the end of the corridor, there were 4 passageways to choose from. Damn it, this isn't what I was expecting. The question is now, which direction do we go in? Naruto asked himself. We best proceed with caution, one or maybe all of them may be a trap. Batman said. Leave this to me, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. In an instant 4 clones appeared. Fan out and search for anything that leads to an exit. The clones nodded as they ran in separate directions. All Naruto and Batman could do is stood there and wait. Normally Naruto would have complained about having to stand still, but that changed during his training with Raishin. He taught him how to be patient in situations such as this, otherwise it'll be his undoing. They were silent for a couple of minutes until Batman broke the silence. What was that trick you did with the fire back there? Batman asked. That's a secret. Besides, I have no obligation to answer your questions, however I might change my mind if I'm in the mood. He answered. Batman scowls at his response, wanting to get some answers from the boy, sooner or later he'd get them. Raishin spoke seriously to his successor for that display. I'm surprised, hatchling, you were so quick to dismiss him. I can understand if you did it to Green Lantern, but why him? Raishin inquired. It's not like I have anything against him personally. There are just certain things about myself I don't wish share. Naruto told him. That's understandable. I know you still haven't completely recovered from your ordeal with Konoha, but remember you're not alone, you have me and the other dragons beside you. Raishin assured his successor. Raishin's words regarding Naruto's history with Konoha were indeed true, despite making several acquaintances he kept himself distant. Never allowing himself to get too close, there were times he tried to interact more, but his fear prevented him from doing so. He silently made a vow to himself not to let the past control his future anymore and to walk forward without looking back. The clones dispelled everything they saw. Witness came into Naruto's mind all at once. We'll take the second passage on the left. How can you be sure? Batman inquired. Unlike the others, this one doesn't have any soldiers patrolling the area for the time being. The blonde answered, already running down the path with Batman not too far behind. While running through the maze, Naruto's assessment about the passage being secure was correct. There wasn't a trace of the white aliens in sight, which was a good thing since they needed to make their getaway. Unfortunately, they reached a dead end. Naruto looks around and there was no other place to go. There's no way out. Batman said. Then I'll have to make one, stand back. Naruto ordered the Dark Knight. As he said this, chakra began to gather and encased his right arm in a spiraling wind fashion. Phton. AMAFKSHM wind, release. Heavenly wind palm, the blonde ran towards the wall, thrusting his hand with the wind chakra hand, creating a large hole on impact. The blast was so intense Batman had to use his own cape to shield his eyes from the debris. After things damage subsided, he turned stunned at the sight of the massive size hole in the hole from one attack. Batman's presumptions of the blonde teenager grow more and more. Aside from that, there was an unusual feeling he was getting from him, something he's never felt in all his crime-fighting career. Naruto turns and gives Batman a questionable look. You coming or what? Naruto held out his hand. Humming out of his thoughts, Batman takes the blonde teen's hand despite not fully trusting him. Naruto flew into air, and the second they were outside, the alien walkers fired beams at them. The blonde flew down into the forest using the tree as cover, but that didn't stop the alien walkers from pursuing them. They flew deeper into the forest using lightning chakra as a power boost to increase his speed. Moving at lightning speed, Naruto had flown a good distance away from the alien walkers and onto the ground, hiding behind a large boulder. Naruto looked around. I think we lost him. Don't be so sure about that. We've got company. He pointed to the approaching invaders. There were about 20 of them in all. Naruto was prepared to attack them, but surprisingly they didn't come any further. Instead they spoke to each other in their alien language. Why are they just standing there? The Dragon King asked. I'm not sure, but we can't waste time here. Batman told him as Naruto nodded in agreement before taking the Dark Knight's hand and flew low to avoid being seen by the invaders. After a while they were out of sight. Why haven't John and Diana come looking for us? Do you suppose something could have happened to them? Naruto asked with concern. No. This might be part of John's plan. Batman replied. What do you mean? Naruto inquired, not seeing the logic. Think about it, our escape was nearly too easy. We were attacked by those walkers the moment we stepped outside, and they even followed us. As for the invaders, they didn't attempt to look for us. Earlier John told us they absorbed his people's shape-shifting abilities. It's possible they can absorb other abilities as well, for instance the ability to read minds. Batman theorized. If you're right, it could also explain how they were able to anticipate our every move while inside the factory. But, shouldn't we go back and regroup with John and Diana? This needs to be analyzed first. It might tell us more about the invaders and possibly a way to defeat them for good. Batman spoke. Naruto couldn't argue with Batman's logic. The world and its people are on the verge of being annihilated. As much as he wanted to go back for the other two, he remembered the promise he made to the people of Metropolis, and that's something he planned to honor. What now? Naruto asked. Take me to where the Batwing is. Batman ordered. After flying for a while they finally reached the Batwing. Naruto jumped in the back of the plane while Batman jumped in the front and started activating all the systems to the plane and takes to the sky. Naruto had to admit the technology designs in Batman's plane were amazing, and the thought of having an aircraft of his own would be useful in the near future, but for now he had stayed focused on saving everyone. Where are we going now? Asked a ninja, curious. I'm going to the Batcave. Is there some place can I drop you off for the time being? The Dark Knight asked. You're just going to leave me alone while the Earth is under attack? Why can't I come with you? Naruto questioned. I only met you a few hours ago, and where I'm going is a professional secret, he announced, making it clear he wasn't the trusting type. His scowl was proof of that. If you're worried about me finding your secret identity, I already told you before I'm not interested in who you are under that mask. Besides, two minds work better than one in situations like this. And to confirm it, I'll wear a blindfold. The blonde said in a serious tone, showing no sign of backing down. Batman stares at the blonde for a second, realizing that there was an emergency and that leaving him somewhere would just make things harder. Especially if he were take off and something told him he wouldn't be easy to find. Here. The Dark Knight presented Naruto with a blindfold. Batman watches as the blonde teen put on the blindfold, making sure it was securely covering his eyes. Satisfied? Naruto inquired. Batman smirks in response. Metropolis. John and Diana waited for Flash and Green Lantern on top of a skyscraper in Metropolis, looking down at the destroyed city and its people rioting. Some were robbing stores while others attacked their fellow man. Diana wondered why Ryukage would bother helping people like that and in returning do nothing to honor his and Batman's heroism. Perhaps, Mother was right about mankind. They're nothing but untamed savages, the Amazon princess said, looking down at the chaos in disgust. Do not judge too harshly, they act out of fear. The green-skinned alien said monotone. Looking back down at the people, Diana could see a few who were trying to help others, paying no care for their own safety. Two bikers were trying to move a large piece of rubble in order to rescue some children that were trapped underneath and were asking for help. The Amazon princess was about to go down and help them when the rubble was surrounded by green energy that Diana recognized coming from Green Lantern's ring. A few seconds later, the two heroes were joined by Flash and Green Lantern. Sorry we're late, had to and help some civilians. Lantern said, turning to them to offer an explanation for the lateness, but not getting a chance to ask why they had been called. What did you call us back for? Flash asked before Lantern could, with his arms open showing his curiosity. Diana sighed but hardened her resolve. It was not the time right now. Superman's been captured, he's trapped somewhere inside there with Hawkgirl. Diana explained, pointing at the factory in the middle of the city, the smoke coming out of the plant and the lighting flashing around it, making it appear even more sinister. Whoa. The Flash muttered, looking the lightning that struck around the factory. What about Batman and the kid? The Lantern asked, wondering why they weren't present. It was John that answered, this time with his head down. They both acted heroically right to the very end. You're saying Bats and Ryu are gone? Asked Flash in disbelief, heart struck that the unbeatable Batman himself was gone and the friend he just made had fallen as well. They were true warriors, the Amazon princess spoke with respect. John voiced their thoughts, looking at the facility. This is not good. Definitely not good. Cocky kid had to go and get himself killed. That kid shouldn't have been here in the first place, then he wouldn't have died. Diana glared angrily at the Lantern as she clenched her fist. What did you say? Diana asked angrily. How dare you? He risked his life to help us escape from them. John got hurt during the battle. He and Batman sacrificed themselves for us to save the world, and you want to say that's nothing? I have nothing personal against him, princess. I was once an instructor for new recruits on Oa. My job was to help inexperienced Green Lanterns. One was a snot-nosed punk who wouldn't listen to anyone. During a mission, he got in over his head and was killed. Ryukage was nothing like that. Didn't you hear anything he said from the start? Diana asked. The Green Lantern frowned at the memory of being beaten by a kid. I haven't forgotten. Enough. This isn't the time for fighting. John advised. Diana and John stopped fighting, but that didn't ease the tension between them. John's right, Superman and Hawkgirl need our help. Flash added. The heroes moved stealthily through Metropolis towards the factory right where the meteor carrying had first landed. The area around it was completely in ruins by the alien walkers. Hiding behind some boulders, the heroes scouted the area, and the only obstacle is one alien walker and two invaders guarding the outside. I can't believe we're doing this again. Flash said to the others. If Superman and Hawkgirl are in there, someone's gotta rescue him. Green Lantern told the speeder before turning to look at John. You are sure they're still in there, aren't you? GL asked the Martian. John? The Lantern called. John opened his eyes. Yes. Your friends are alive, but we must act quickly. The Imperium is coming. The who? Flash asked. The supreme intelligence that controls these invaders. John informed them. We have met before. Can we trust this base case? Flash whispered to GL. What choice do we have? Green Lantern replied, seeing no other alternative. He stood up along with the others. Okay, we're in. Flash, create a diversion. Diana, watch my back. Green Lantern ordered. You want to rely on an amateur? Diana asked with a smirk on her face as she and Green Lantern look each other in silence. Let's move. Green Lantern told them. The heroes flew inside the facility unnoticed through the hole that Superman and Hawkgirl made earlier, while Flash had gotten the alien walker's attention by throwing a rock at it. Tag, you're it. Flash taunted, then blows a raspberry. The alien walker shoot at Flash repeatedly, but he was too quick, not even close. Come on, Slowpoke. I dare you. As the alien walker slowly approaches, Flash tricked it into stepping on a landmine, blowing off one of its legs, losing its bounce by falling over and explodes. Bye-bye. Flash said before speeding off. John lead the group down the passway where he sensed Superman and Hawkgirl as Flash joins them. "Hope I didn't keep you," he says only to be shushed by GL. Up ahead there were two guards blocking their path. John devised a plan as he told the others to remain where they were before shapeshifting into a pale alien. Once he got their attention he surprised them with a sneak attack, phasing both arms through them. We should be fine for some time. The others are making preparations for the Imperium's arrival. Is it just me or does he creep you out too? Flash said to Diana and GL who didn't respond. After the obstacles had been dealt with they followed the Martian through the halls. They'd been walking for some time towards where he'd sensed Superman and Hawkgirl were being held captive. Finally, the heroes stopped in front of a round door. John then placed his hand on the door. "I sense that they are somewhere beyond these walls," he said. Diana tried to burst the wall open with her strength, but it wouldn't budge. "It's no use. We'll have to find another way." "Stand back," Green Lantern said, walking forward. His power ring managed to pierce the wall, but slowly. "We don't have much time left," John informed, sensing something coming from the outside as Green Lantern continued making a doorway. After a few minutes, the doorway was finally opened. The group walked inside and saw Superman and Hawkgirl unconscious, hanging upside down. "Great Hera," Diana stated with a shocking look all over her face. The others quickly ran to get them down when John suddenly stopped, getting a bad vibe. "Wait. Something is not right," John uttered suspiciously. The Martin's warning came too late as Superman and Hawkgirl's eyes opened, revealing to be blood red, making Diana gasp. The room sealed itself, imprisoning the heroes. It's a trap," Green Lantern barked as tiny holes appear in the walls and unleashed yellow gas. Everyone gasped and coughed as they inhaled the gas. They started falling down, slowly losing consciousness. "Lantern," Diana said, coughing, struggling to stay conscious. "Your ring." Soon, everyone was knocked out. Green Lantern tried to use his ring, but he couldn't concentrate. "And focus," he said before he falls unconscious. The fake Superman and Hawkgirl walked towards the fallen heroes, smirking before they morphed back into their true alien forms. Gotham Batcave. Batman and Naruto arrived in the Batcave. Once Batman exited his plane, he gave Naruto his permission. "Alright, you can remove your blindfold now," Batman told the blonde. Naruto removes the blindfold and opens his eyes, then looks around and realizes this is the Batcave. "Wow. You got a nice cave," Naruto amazed. "Thanks," Batman said in a cold tone. "Did you build this all on your own?" he asked. "Yes," Batman answered in cold tone as he seats in a chair using the computer to analyze the ion matrix crystal. While Batman was working, Naruto explored the Batcave. Its features are state-of-the-art facilities such as a crime lab, various specialized laboratories, mechanized workshops, personal gymnasium, parking, docking and hangar space for his various vehicles, as well as separate exits for each type, and a set of memorabilia he presumes were his foes. It also has medical facilities as well as various areas used in training exercises. "Think I can get Arsenal to construct me a secret lair? I could definitely use a place to do some hardcore training without worrying about being seen," Naruto thought. Arsenal isn't the most intelligent dragon in the dragon realm for nothing. Building a base is child's play for a guy like him, especially when you're working with dragon technology, Raishin said with pride. "Still, I'm not over how you announced yourself as the new Dragon King." Flashback Naruto's mindscape. Naruto stares at the summoning contract before him. "You're serious I can sign it?" Naruto questions his predecessor. "Yes, you're more than earned it. You've proven to be worthy of title Dragon King and now show it to your followers," Raishin told the blonde. "Each dragon has his or her own power, there are some who work best combinations." Naruto nodded as he signed the contract, then returns to consciousness. "Alright, let's be summoning to the test." The blonde bites his thumb and forms the seals, slamming his hand into the ground and shouted. "Kuchius no Jutsu." He watched in a burst of smoke emerged a dragon with dark blue scales, several bony spikes growing out of its forearms, and a whale fin-like formation on the end of his tail. He has a series of 7 horns on his head which seem to from a thick bone plate on his skull, just under the skin. His hair is partially hidden behind his horns and resembles a pair of sideburns, and his tongue resembles a snake. Lastly, he has a scar over his right eye. He spoke in a titanic tone. "It's been many years since my kind have been summoned." He looks down at Naruto surprised, then caught a familiar scent. "Who are you? I can tell that you have dragon's blood flowing through your veins and you smell the same as Master Raishin. Raishin and I share the same body. I'm his successor Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, king of all dragons," Naruto said calmly. Naruto explained everything to the dragon and he responded with laughter which didn't sit well with Naruto, unaware of what was about to occur. "What blasphemy, do you take me for a fool?" the dragon roared. There's no way Master Ryushin would ever relinquish his mantle to a worm like you, it's idiotic to believe you can possibly. The dragon ceased speaking as Naruto unleashed a massive killing intent which brought the dragon down to a bound position. Naruto looks right into the dragon's eyes and this time spoke in an icy tone. Let's try this again, shall we? My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, king of all dragons. You can either obey me or die, your choice. Naruto spoke emotionless. The dragon felt Naruto's immense power and it frightens him while at the same time impressed him. Never before has anyone but Ryushin displayed such power and judging by the look in Naruto's eyes, showed no signs of lying. Well, what's it gonna be? The blonde inquired. Master, please forgive me for my rudeness, I'm really sorry. The dragon apologized. Naruto could see that the dragon was quite sincere with his apology. You're forgiven. Tell me, what is your name? Naruto inquired. Ghidorah. He replied in a respectful tone. There's something I'd like for you to do for me. Naruto requested. Anything you wish, your majesty. I'd like to go to the dragon realm and personally greet my other allies. Naruto said. At once. Ghidorah presses his hands together. In that instant both he and Naruto disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Flashback ends. You said the dragons won't respect a king who's weak. All I really did was give them a demonstration of my power. Naruto smirked at the memory. Some demonstration? Was it necessary to destroy those buildings just to prove a point? Ryushin asked. Yes, I got carried away, but on the bright side they see me as their king. Naruto replied. After Naruto finishes sightseeing he walks over beside the Dark Knight. If I told everyone Batman invited to the Batcave, I doubt they'd believe me. They won't and never will. Batman stated with certainty while typing on his computer. Relax, I was only joking. He said nonchalantly. Batman shaking his head and gets back to work. So you find anything? Naruto asked in a more serious tone. The crystal seems to generate an ion flux that when released in the atmosphere creates dry rain clouds, the Dark Knight said looking at the data. Why would they do that? Naruto questions. I'm not sure, John said that they're nocturnal and they intend to block out the sun. Batman informed. Naruto took a thinking position with both palms covering his mouth. Things aren't always what they appear, the further you dig and your answer will be there. What? Batman stopped and looked at the blonde. It's one of the lessons my teacher taught me in training, all problems have a solution, no matter how difficult it is to find. The blonde said. Good advice. Batman said with a small smile. You're thinking about what happened there in the factory as well, aren't you? Naruto asked, not looking at him. Yes. Something strange happened then, remember when we fought them in their hideout? Batman continued to look at the data. After we broke in they retreated. Naruto said. And when we went in deeper they fought back. Batman said. Something obvious scared them into running away. Maybe risk a lot letting us in when they could have just blocked us at the entrance. As part of a trap. Batman ponders. I don't think so. They looked really scared to just be acting and we were the only ones there. Naruto said. The blonde thinks back to the fight with the invaders and why they felt the need to run, all he really knew about them was what John informed. Then a shock appeared on his and Batman's faces at the realization. Sunlight. Both said simultaneously. So that's why they are trying to block the sun and why they attacked at night. They had a time limit. The aliens come from deep space, so they must have evolved with no resistance against our solar radiation. Batman returned pressing some buttons on the huge computer. I think I can change the ion flow of this crystal that will make the storm disperse and the sun appear. Batman pressing buttons on the computer and coming with a schematic of a portable ion flow device. Well, we better hurry. Look. Naruto pointed at the monitor that showed the news. Both turned their attention to the screen. Government sources have confirmed the approach of another object from space. They predict it will be roughly 5 times the size of the first landers. Senator J. Allen Carter had this to say. In the face of this new development we are calling on the public to remain calm. Naruto's eyes narrow as he scoffs with anger. Remain calm, yeah right, that imposter may have deceived us in the beginning, but not now. I know the true meaning behind those words, they're preparing their final assault on the earth and their leader is coming to make sure everything goes smoothly. If that's true then we need to hit them first before they do. Before we got separated, John said Superman and Hawkgirl were captured. It's possible the same thing happened to the others as well. Better to be captured than killed. Naruto said with relief. The fact they're still alive only shows how arrogant the invaders are, including their leader. The Dark Knight nodded. While you're working on that crystal I'll get my equipment ready to take out those invaders permanently. The Dragon King turns around and walks to a deeper section of the Batcave, sitting perfectly still on the floor as he gathers in nature energy. He now has green dragon-like irides with crimson pigmentation around his eyes, even though they can't be seen because of his mask. Never thought I'd have to go into Dragon Sage mode for a battle like this. Then again it is to save the world, desperate times call for desperate measures. Naruto thought to himself. Remember what I told you during training, hatchling. You can only stay in Dragon Sage mode for an hour and afterwards, your body will be exhausted. Raishin reminded the current Dragon King. Naruto nodded. Understood. Besides, one of the basic rules of power is to know your own limits. Raishin smirked at the memory when he first started training Naruto, he'd put the blonde through some of the severe training no shinobi has ever endured, not even a cage. Not once did he complain, he just kept pushing forward, overcoming any obstacle in his way. Out of all the dragons, I've seen you're only the fifth to measure up to my expertise. Raishin told the blonde. The fifth? Are you saying you've trained others before me? Naruto questioned. I did, how else do you think most of the dragons develop their skills and pass it along to others? And here I thought I was your only student. Naruto spoke in a displeased manner. Don't let it you down, hatchling, sure you may not have been my first student, but you're the first to be king of all dragons in this world. Hearing that statement from his predecessor made Naruto feel a lot better. Unlike Kakashi, Raishin didn't show favoritism towards him or his previous students, and most importantly he wasn't a hypocrite about his teachings. If he'd met Raishin back in his days as a shinobi, he'd have quit Team 7 in a heartbeat. Thanks, Raishin-sensei. Now I have some alien asses to kick. No problem. And be sure to give him hell. After his conversation with Raishin ended, Naruto noticed Batman standing not too far from him. Why are you standing there like that? Batman had completed his task 10 minutes ago and went to inform the young Dragon King of his progress. But when he'd found him he was standing still like a statue, and so he hasn't moved an inch. The Dark Knight was unaware of what's going on within Naruto's mind. Naruto quickly came up with a believable lie as he spoke in a business-like manner. Sorry, I preparing myself for the final showdown and needed to relax my mind by meditating. Now he's curious if the Caped Crusade believed him or not. Batman gave Naruto a cold hard stare and chose not ask any questions since there are more important to focus on. Come with me. Batman ordered. Naruto followed the Dark Knight back to his computer. On the screen, it showed a hologram of a ship moving towards a city. Where's it headed? Naruto asked. Metropolis. Batman answered. Let's get going then. Naruto spoke. Batman nodded just as he was about to walk towards his plane. Naruto stops him. What is it? I can get us to Metropolis much quicker. Naruto said as he out his Hiraishin kunai. In an instant they were transported out of the Batcave. Metropolis. Batman and Naruto appear on one of the building a few streets away from the facility. Good thing I left my mark here, otherwise it might have taken us a lot longer to get here. So how should we proceed? Naruto asked. Simple, we sneak in and insert the ion matrix crystal to their emitter to change the ion flow. That plan's flawless. But just so we don't run into any traps, let's go in my way. Naruto flew towards the facility while carrying Batman. They reached the facility within seconds. Naruto quickly took out the guards with his Rasengan. With them taken care of, Naruto and Batman had no trouble sneaking in. Thanks to his Dragon Sage mode was able to see everything within the facility. It had taken him a couple of to pinpoint the rest of the heroes' location. Thankfully they're alive and well. But unconscious, Naruto looked around and saw the rest of the heroes. I've found them, they're okay, but if we intend to get the drop on them we'll have to work fast. Lead the way. Batman said. But the captured heroes. When the heroes finally regained consciousness they found themselves in a large room, their hands and feet encased in an organic material that they couldn't break through. John, wake up. Superman called the last Martian as he and the others finally became aware of their surroundings. John slowly woke up, groaning. Superman, he said as he turned to look at Superman. You shouldn't have risked your lives for us. The Man of Steel stated. Would you have done less for me? John said, causing Superman to think he had a point. Now my aching head, Flash commented as he woke up. Soon, everyone was gaining consciousness. Suddenly, from above, one invader walked forward, looking at the heroes. Earth's mightiest heroes. He said as his form changed into Senator J. Allen Carter, former astronaut and the man responsible for convincing the United Nations to disarm all nuclear missiles. Welcome. Senator Carter. Superman said angrily. Unfortunately, the real Carter never returned from Mars. The fake senator said, smirking. We know. You used me to weaken Earth's defenses. Superman said, glaring at the fake senator. You were so eager to cooperate. Carter said, still smiling. Thanks to you, the humans were totally helpless against us. It's not over yet, Superman said with a glare as he once more tried to break free from his restraints, but found himself still too weak to do so. Wrong again, Superman. Carter replied, as panel rising up from the ground that the fake senator pressed in order to open the ceiling above them. In the distance, they could see a large alien ship high in the sky above them before a smaller black ship made its way towards them. "All hail the Imperium," Carter declared as he and the other invaders bowed. Emerging from the ship, a purple jellyfish-like alien descended. It had many tentacles with no real face. Its body was mostly transparent, while its insides were a chaotic mess of dark smoke-like substance and a few other colors. "John Johns, it's been a long time." The Imperium greeted the last Martian, with a simple gesture, being able to manipulate where John was being held to come closer to him before being released. Before the John could do anything, two of the invaders carrying spears came forward and proceeded to shock the Martian until he reverted to his true form and fell to the ground. "Much better," the Imperium said, sounding pleased. "You have defied us for centuries. And I will never bow before you or any of your kind," John said, speaking telepathically with the purple alien as he stood defiantly before the other aliens. "Then I'll personally see to finishing what should have been accomplished long ago," the Imperium said as its tentacles moving toward John. The elimination of the last Martian. Its tentacles impaled John and dug under his green skin. The torture John's enduring is something no one should ever have to experience. John's screams became louder as the Imperium dragging him into its own body. Superman and the others could only watch powerlessly while the Imperium continues torturing John within the interior. Screams and flashes of a dying Sprout, the Martian struggled to escape even in extreme pain, but it was useless. In fact, the alien kept him captive just for entertainment. "Let go of him, you filthy bastard," Superman cried. "Yield to us, John Johns," the leader said with conviction, ignoring the Man of Steel completely. "Never," Martian replied, refusing to give in despite the constant torture. "Why do you resist? Embrace this truth." Continuing boosting his superiority. "After all these years, you have finally lost." "Have I?" John growled. "You're hiding something. A secret deep in the recesses of your mind," Imperium confirms with certainty. The nature of the secret was unimportant, but it had to know what was John protecting. "Is this another of your Martian tricks?" he demanded angrily. "Do I sense fear?" John replied. "What are you hiding?" "Ah!" John cried in pain. "Now," Martian replied, changing back into his previous form. The rest of the heroes looked at the sound of the explosion and saw Naruto and Batman on the protective layer. "Flash the closest," broke the silence Batman. "Ryukage. It can't be." The Amazon princess's voice was full of wonder and slight shock. John answered their thoughts. "I mentally shielded them so they couldn't be detected." Batman plunged his hand holding the emitter, pushing it in the ion crystal, activating it. Instantly the red layers that surrounded the crystal and the walls turned blue. "What have you done?" the fake Senator Carter questioned. "Reverse the ion charge," the Dark Knight responded. The leader of the invaders knew immediately what's about to happen. "The crystal, destroy it," the Imperium ordered urgently. Naruto and Batman jumped from the crystal just in time before the invaders opened fire. But all their firepower did nothing to the crystal as it protected itself. "It's shielded," the fake Senator Carter said, baffled. Destroy them all," the Imperium ordered. Its voice sounded very pissed off. Naruto turns to Batman and spoke in a serious tone. "You go and free the others, I'll cover you." Batman didn't have to be told twice as two of them went their separate ways. Batman used his grappling hook and moved to help the others. While Naruto stood before the Imperium and its minions. "I'm gonna teach you bastards the consequences for trying to take over this planet," Naruto told them, emotionless. Naruto made the first move by throwing shuriken at the aliens' laser gun, knocking them from their hands. Naruto jumps over, grabbing one by their arm and hurled him into the others. The fake Senator Carter and several of the other aliens picked up their weapons and shoot at Naruto. Thanks to his Dragon Sage mode, he can sense energy from all around even without looking, so it was easy for him to avoid their blasts. The blonde reappeared holding two kunai, infusing them with lightning and fire chakra nature, creating two chakra blades. Naruto tore through them like paper. He cut one in half with his fire chakra blade, leaving behind no remains but flames. Naruto jabbed the lightning chakra blade into ground, unleashing an electric current that forced the invaders back, followed by lightning bolts that give the invaders a shocking treatment. Even so, the invaders had no intentions of submitting. The invaders shot at Naruto only. Instead of dodging their attacks, he used both chakra blades to block them off, smirking viciously underneath his make. Naruto swag his chakra blades, releasing waves of lightning and fire attacks. The targets got either burnt or shocked. Naruto was careful not to strike the Imperium since John's trapped within him and knew he personally wanted to avenge his people. However, should the opportunity for him to step in, he'd gladly do it. The young Dragon King is beyond excited now. His desire to fight kept increasing that he decided to put away the chakra blades and fight with Taijutsu. Naruto kicks one repeatedly in its chest, then a spin kick that sends the alien flying into the wall. Naruto turns in time to see two coming at him with spears attempting to pierce his neck. He ducks and grabs both invaders by their necks, slamming them both into the ground hard. The blonde teen backflips away from the invaders, and after getting a good distance away, he focused his chakra into his palms and smacks them together, creating a shockwave that sent the invaders scattering in different directions. Naruto looks at his handiwork. If he'd become the Dragon King back when he lived in Konoha, they'd know not to mess with him. But that no longer mattered to him. The earth is his home now, and he's willing to do anything to defend it. The invaders rose to their feet. Much to Naruto's amusement, he couldn't continue wasting time on them, plus he only has a few minutes left before Dragon Sage mode runs out. While Naruto's fighting off the invaders, Batman and the other hero could only watch as Naruto took down the invaders. Needless to say, too stunned to speak, never before have they seen anyone with the sort of fighting skills he had. Batman is the most surprised. He'd studied under multiple martial artists, and not one of them had this moves. He himself wondered who Raikage's teacher is and what else he taught the teen. The reversed ion charge was now in effect as the factory unleashed beams of light out into the sky as the clouds that held the world under a cloak of darkness began to move away and reveal the sunlight once more. The end results were there as the aliens quickly sought cover and those currently fighting Raikage pulled back into an area where the sunlight couldn't reach them. Naruto smiles triumphantly knowing the invaders' plans had been foiled and the planet's survival had increased. John also managed to free himself from the Imperium's grasp and drag the creature into the sunlight. The Imperium screamed in pain as the Martian taunted him while holding its tentacles, which are still dug in his own body. You hide underground and shun the light. Why does it burn your pale putrid skin? The alien screamed in pain as boils and steam came out from the creature as more sunlight fell on it. Damn, that's one nasty sunburn. Flash said disgustedly. It was not long before the heroes were able to get into the fight. Superman managed to get a charge from the Son of Earth and used his heat vision to free himself. The invaders prepared to fire their weapons at the heroes, but Superman covered them by ripping a section of the platform the aliens were on and bending it, giving them cover. Batman to do his work and he held it up. Just as Batman finally Diana, Superman freed Hawkgirl with his heat vision as well. She in turn freed Green Lantern with her mace Diana, then freed Flash as the speedster was now on the move to join in on the battle as well. Hawkgirl used her mace to smash the invaders into puddles of slime, while Flash and Green Lantern were punching and scattering them around. Superman flew through the surface of the facility and making holes that let sunlight to enter and hit the invaders, burning them. The rest of the superheroes proceeded to help him and ripped entire sections of the roof, letting sunlight enter. Naruto was fighting the aliens and made sure they couldn't help their leader. The Imperium freed itself from John's grip by pushing his tentacle deeper into the Martian's temple, electrocuting him. After knocking him unconscious, the Imperium threw John to the ground like trash. Meanwhile, the fake Senator Carter, who's firing at the heroes, he notices his leader floating back towards his ship and trying to escape. Imperium, take me with you. He exclaimed as he jumped and grabbed onto the creature. Unhand me, worm. The Imperium exclaimed as he swatted the fake Senator Carter aside. The fake Senator Carter fell roughly to the ground as the Imperium entered his ship. The ship started flying away, causing more sunlight to enter. No. Carter yelled as he was hit with sunlight before he turned into a puddle of slime. Diana blocked the invaders' fire when she noticed Imperium was escaping. She quickly grabbed her lasso to hold the ship down and keep the leader of the invaders from escaping. Superman was able to defend John along Naruto, who used the Amaterasu to ensnare the invaders in a flame circle. He warned the heroes not to touch or get near the flames. The Kryptonian used his heat vision to make a hole in the wall, bring in more sunshine, turning the invaders who were shooting at him into puddles of slime. The alien ship fired a beam at Diana, forcing the Amazon princess to block it and allowing the aliens the chance to make their getaway. Hawkgirl had flown above the alien ship and used her mace to disable their ship. The Amazon princess grabbed her lasso once more to prevent the Imperium from escaping, just as a doorway was revealed from the alien mothership. Diana yanked hard on the lasso and dragged the ship back. Just as Hawkgirl continued to strike it, Naruto joins in, delivering the final blow with an Adama Rasengan. The Imperium screamed in fury as its vessel was sent smashing into the factory and nearly crushing Batman, but Flash saves the Dark Knight at the last moment. The factory started to collapse because of the damage they had done to it, and the heroes went to work saving the people trapped inside the same pods the aliens used, with Green Lantern carrying them in a bubble, while Superman carried Flash and flew after Green Lantern, followed by Diana carrying Batman. John, Raikage, and Hawkgirl are the last ones out right before the factory exploded. The cloud covering Metropolis was gone completely and light shined over the city once more. The alien mothership started to ascend back into space, abandoning their followers who still remained on Earth, wanting to avoid the same fate as their leader. They're getting away. Hawkgirl exclaimed. Those cowards. Diana spoke angrily. The idea of letting the aliens escape made Naruto growl. After everything they've done to John's home and his people was something he couldn't accept. Knowing if they were to escape they'd try the same thing on some other planet. He intended to make them pay for all the pain they caused not just for John, but for the beings in the universe. Raishin sensed what Naruto's about to do and all he can say is, do it. Without warning, Naruto took off into the air leaving the others behind wondering what he's doing. Naruto used Hajikage Bunshin no Jutsu to summon hundreds of clones, those aside from Batman, John, and Diana had seen this before, while the other were astounded that the blonde had duplicated himself. The clones had the mothership surrounded from every direction. You know what to do guys, all together. Naruto ordered as he and the clone extended their hands forming the Dama Rasengan. Down below the heroes watched as ball of energy appearing in Naruto's hands including his copies. Attack! He shouted. The mothership is hit with Dama Rasengan from all over causing a massive explosion, all that could be seen right now is smoke. The heroes watch as the smoke slowly begin clearing up revealing only Naruto, and the mothership was nowhere in sight, telling them the ship and the aliens on board have been taken out. Naruto smiles underneath his mask, then burst out laughing joyfully at his victory. Flash let out an amused whistle. What a way to go out with a bang. He's a true warrior. Diana complimented. The Amazon princess' admiration towards Ryukage had grown in the short amount of time after meeting him. The power he displayed shows him to be in a class by himself, but that wasn't the reason she admired the young fighter. His spirit is what makes him so special, it's like the warmth of the sun shining brightly, and his regard for the opposite gender is well placed. Naruto stares down at what's left of the factory and thinks to himself. No one will ever take over this planet, not as long as I'm alive. After those words came out of Naruto's mouth his entire body became numb as Dragon Sage mode deactivated. Damn it, I went over the time limit. The effect of using Dragon Sage mode is more exhausting than I thought. Naruto's so tired he could no longer stay in the air and begin to fall. Diana gasped in shock seeing the blonde falling. She didn't hesitate to fly towards Naruto. The Amazon princess grabs him while in midair, noticing he's in a weakened state. Diana placed his hand over her shoulder and used her right hand to support his back and hold his side. Naruto smiles at Diana while expressing his gratitude. Thanks for the help. Diana smiles back even though she couldn't see his face, somehow she's able to tell. No problem, we wouldn't want to lose you again. She flew him back to the group who are on a building called Daily Planet instantly came to him. Superman is the first to speak. Are you alright, Ryukage? I'm fine, that attack took a lot out of me. Naruto half lied. I'll say it did. But you did it, you stopped them from escaping and harming anyone else. Superman praised. Thanks. Naruto replied chuckling. You're lucky to still be alive after pulling a stunt like that, kid. Hawkgirl scolded. Ah, shut up, Tinkerbell. Naruto said, giving her the finger. I'd put that finger down if I were you, otherwise you might end up losing it. When I'm good and ready. John, get everyone's attention. We shouldn't be standing here, there are still aliens around that need to be taken care of at once. John said. Let's split into the same teams as before. Superman suggested, getting nods from other heroes. Why about Ryu? He's not in any shape to move. Diana said worried. Don't worry about me, I just need a few minutes to rest. I'll look after him. Diana said determined. They didn't argue with Diana's decision. Superman is the first leave with Hawkgirl, followed by Green Lantern and Flash. Batman and John were the last to go, leaving Ryukage and Diana alone together. You didn't have to stay with me, Haim. Naruto said, not trying to sound ungrateful. But I wanted to, especially since I didn't want to take that chance of you getting attacked in your condition. Diana told him. Naruto knew there were no lies in her words. I appreciate your concern, Haim. You've got a kind heart to match your fighting spirit. Naruto said truthfully, removing himself from Diana's hold and sits cross-legged. Diana sat down beside him. The same can be said about you as well. Other than that, I'm glad I got the opportunity to meet you, Ryukage, and there's something I'd like to ask you. Ask away. The power that you have is amazing, I never thought someone out of Themyscira ever existed. Are you a god? I'm a lot of things, Haim. Now a god, that's a new one, but to honest, I like to think of myself as a man who earned his powers through hard work and determination. Naruto answered. And the effort has been a success. You don't suppose your teacher would mind training me? Diana inquired with hope. Naruto shook his head much to the Amazon's disappointment. I'm sorry to say this, but your body wouldn't be able to withstand the kind of training my teacher gave me. There's a 90% chance you might end up crippled for good. Naruto said in a serious tone. Is that your way of saying I'm weak? Diana spoke angrily. Far from it. I'm telling you this because my teacher's training methods are beyond severe and I don't want you getting hurt. Haim, there are something a person can't be taught, not because they don't have the knack for it, but from what the risk will be. Diana nodded in understanding. Just because you can't train under my teacher doesn't mean you can't train with me. If you're interested, I'd be more happy to teach you. I accept your offer. Diana answered without hesitation. Excellent. However, in exchange for my training, you have to make me a promise. Naruto said. What kind of promise? Diana inquired. The promise of a lifetime that you'll always use the lessons I teach you for good. It didn't take Diana long to reply. I promise. Naruto places his hand under Diana's chin, gazing into her eyes. I like that look in your eyes, it shows your worth as a warrior. Strength and speed mean nothing without a heart to guide them, you've shown me your heart. I've seen yours as well. Diana smirked. 1 month later. The remaining invaders had been taken down along with the facilities, sometimes they worked separately, but most of the time they worked together. The people were relieved that the end of the world had been prevented. Despite their victory, there were some who weren't satisfied, namely the military. They discussed that it was luck they survived and what to do should another attack like this ever occur. Batman pondered that thought as well and came up with a solution, one that'll change the Earth for the better. The watchtower outside Earth's orbit. Superman was looking out the window at the Earth when Batman walks up behind him. Incredible, do your stockholders know about this, Bruce? He asked a Dark Knight using his real name, since it's just the two of them in the room. The line item hidden in the aerospace R&D budget. This watchtower will act as an early warning system for detecting other threats of invasion from space. Naruto flew down next to Superman. Very interesting place. Flash and Diana arrived through the elevator, iced matchas in their hands. Flash was the one to add to Naruto's comments. Not to mention it has a fully stocked kitchen. Ice matcha. He offered Superman. No thanks. The Kryptonian politely declined. Diana took a sip of her matcha, enjoying the new taste. She said with a smile. They don't have these on Themyscira. Stick around, princess. I'll show you the ropes. Flash said with a sly grin. Perhaps I will. An impressive installation. This time it was Green Lantern that descended from above with Hawkgirl. Most impressive. But what's it got to do with us? Superman turned from their gazes and looked again at the Earth, responding while walking towards the glass. I once thought I could protect the world by myself, but I was wrong. Working together we saved the planet, and I believe that if we stayed together as a team, we would be a force that could truly work for the ideals of peace and justice. What, like a bunch of super friends? Flash asked, getting the idea. More like a Justice League, he said with a smile. Do you have any idea how corny that sounds? Flash voiced his opinion again. But maybe the big guy's got a point. With all of us behind it, it might just work. Count me in. He reassured, putting his hand on Superman's. Me too, said Green Lantern, approaching them and putting his hand over Flash's. Hawkgirl followed his example and me placing her hand on his. Diana looked a little uncertain. My mother may not approve, but I find man's world to be intriguing. I'll gladly join. She said with confidence, placing her hand on Hawkgirl's. Naruto just looked at them with a smirk and knew it was his turn. I have to agree with Flash about the name sounding lame. And you guys are like a magnet for trouble. But I've never been a guy to turn down a challenge. Life's one big adventure and this is one I don't intend to miss out on it. I'm in all the way. He said, then placed his hand on Diana's. Everyone looked at Batman, but Superman voiced their thoughts. What about you, Batman? The Dark Knight put his head down slightly and answered, I'm not really a people person. But when you need help, and you will, call me. That's just his way of saying he's in. The blonde said with a smirk. Understood, the Man of Steel responded. Then we're all agreed. Superman asked, looking at all heroes who nodded their heads in agreement. Wait, Diana said, looking around. John's not here. Noticing the Martian's absence. Yeah, where is he? Flash asked. Superman flew to control console. Where is John? Staring into the darkness of space at Mars. John, are you alright? Superman asked. My family and loved ones are long gone. I am the last of my kind. He spoke with an aching heart. Superman placed a hand on his shoulder. I know the feeling. Mars is dead and I am alone in the universe. John, we can never replace the family you lost, but we'd be honored if you learned to call Earth your home. Both of them smiled and flew down to their new teammates. They all gathered around and started to chat how they'll be operating. Naruto had a good feeling about this, joining this team, that they'll be much better to work with than his former teammates. This is new beginning for me. Mom, Dad, Jiraiya, Gigi, and Yami-sama, I hope you guys are watching because I intend to, because the greatest hero ever. Naruto thought. End chapter. What if Naruto Juubi was in Justice League? End here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.